activity in the studio. If you're watching us on YouTube, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Auburn just scored again against South Carolina.
Hey! Not a crazy stat.
You know, I need to find, I was going to look. So, you know, South Carolina and Auburn play a doubleheader today, starting at 1 o'clock because of the imposing weather that is going to hit Auburn later on. So they want to either that or South Carolina just wants to get out of town as soon as possible. So they said, let's just go ahead and take it on the chin. And
you think last night helped Paul Maneri's case?
I went on the South Carolina.
Closer to that buyout.
I went on the South Carolina message boards last night. And believe it or not, they're just like, whatever. I mean, they weren't like really upset. I mean, I think after last weekend, what Florida did to them, you know, one of those games was about like the Auburn game.
Well, South Carolina now, they're a women's basketball and football school.
They just don't care. But in case you missed it, the big news last night, and I was getting text messages. I was umpiring last night in Trussville. And so I was getting text messages. It's like, are you following this Auburn game? I'm like going, oh gosh, what's going on? You know, thinking somebody throwing a perfect game. It was just the opposite. It was like, oh no, at the end of 3, it was 12-1. It was 24-1 after 5 innings. And I'm like, oh my goodness. The third most runs in an SEC game in program history for Auburn. Scored multiple runs in 4 consecutive innings. They belted 5 home runs. 5 players collected multiple hits. 10 of the team's 20 hits were extra bases, including a season high, the 5 home runs. South Carolina now falls to 5-20, and I would assume after today's doubleheader will be 5-22 going back to Columbia. Just what a game.
Well, if you're Butch Thompson, you're Auburn, you certainly hope so as far as today. But yeah, and the exclamation point was it was Guevara for Auburn who hit a grand slam off the top of the batter's eye.
Yeah, that was a shot. And you sent me that cool graphic about Auburn baseball and Auburn football the last 2 times that they have played South Carolina. They've scored 17 points in 2020. In 2021, Auburn football scored 22 points. And then last night in baseball, they scored 24 runs against South Carolina. So they scored more than the football team did the last two times they played the game.
So we're still throwing shade at Brian Harsin. That would have been both of Brian Harson's, right? Because they lost back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was Mike Bobo was the coordinator, and they ran the same play nine straight times, and Auburn couldn't stop it.
Yeah. Auburn scores their most runs in an SEC game in 60 years. And so South Carolina has now been outscored 54-5 in their last 3 SEC games. And I need to see if there's a spread on today's game.
Are we going to jump on it?
I think it would be wise. I think right now, if you like to gamble or wager, however you want to say it, on baseball, right now, if you want to fade the Rockies and the South Carolina Gamecocks, that's probably a pretty good parlay. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the Rockies. Oh, goodness. That's a whole nother story.
They lost 2 more yesterday to the Tigers.
What are they, 6-31 now?
It's bad. Have you found it, Conrad? I can't find it on my my go-to place.
I don't know if this might have been for last night's game, but it was 3.5 Auburn.
What?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if
that's
for
that
tonight.
All week long and twice on Sunday.
Who's on the bump today? Is it Dutton? Do we have pitching matchups?
I do not know. I can look that up in a second.
He's been a solid Friday start.
Oh, wait a second. Really I think I might have found it. Georgia's minus 130 against Alabama. I'm looking. Nope, not listed. I've got all these other SEC games, but no South Carolina Auburn.
I'm seeing minus 120, but I'm thinking that was from last night, maybe.
That was it?
They might have had to mix it up, too, with the doubleheader and having to change around the schedule. They might have taken it off and redoing it this morning because they have 2. I don't know.
But if that was the spread last night, we missed a golden opportunity for our retirement funds to be heavily inflated after last night's game. Good night.
Let's see if I can find this line.
If anybody knows
they honestly might have just taken it off the board after we're not going to go down this path.
So as I mentioned, due to the weather forecast in the Auburn area on Saturday, and there's a lot of activities going on. I think there's 4 graduation ceremonies at Auburn this weekend. It starts today. You know, UAB had last week, UAB's graduation, they had one on Friday, then they had 2 or 3 on Saturday.
Did you go to all of them?
No,
just the one.
No, just the one.
Didn't Alabama combine all of theirs with President Trump being there?
Well, I think the one that Trump, that was just like, that's why they did it on a Thursday.
It was just a general address before the ceremonies. Gotcha.
Yep. And then the ceremonies began on Friday, and then they had multiple on Saturday. So a lot of activities down at Auburn this weekend. But the baseball team, they're going to try to wrap up that doubleheader starting today at 1 o'clock against South Carolina. Game 2 will begin 45 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. The stadium will be cleared after the games. So
you have to buy a ticket to both of them?
Correct. This is not, let's not do like Landrum used to do back in the day where he would like.
What would I do?
Well, you would buy a ticket and then you'd go hide out in the bathroom until, the next game came around. So you would, be able to see the game for free.
That was when I was really young. Then I graduated to getting into costume and assuming the role of an event staff worker or concessions personnel.
We know what we used to do in high school. And I think
I knew the lingo.
The limitations are gone now, but our home course, we used to always go play Roebuck. Don Hawkins Park, right there on the Parkway. With the big net, in case if you're driving by, you gotta be careful.
Well, I was going to say, what gets hit more, windshields driving by that course or people on adjacent tee boxes?
Yes, that too.
You got to have your head on the swivel out there.
So what we would do in high school is we'd go out there and we'd pay for 9, because we'd walk it because we didn't have the money for a cart. We're high school kids.
Man, you're young. You need the exercise.
Yeah, I need the exercise. We had a little pull cart. Little pull cart. Now they're like
remote control or GPS.
All that crap.
They just link up and they just follow you.
Yeah, no. We were actually pulling it, Conrad.
I don't think I've ever played a round of golf where I didn't have a golf cart.
Really?
Yeah.
You never carried your bag?
No. Why would I do that?
But anyway,
a golf cart.
Well, we practiced out at Robert Trent Jones in high school, and we had to walk.
Now I know that, like my friends who were on the golf team in high school and stuff, they had to walk. They didn't get a cart, but.
So I know you're not familiar with the layout of Roebuck.
No, I just see the proximity of the tee boxes.
Right. So
it scares me.
So basically, you could pay for 9, and then we would skip holes number. So you could literally play 10 and 11, and then you did not come back towards the clubhouse until 12. Okay. So, most golf courses, you finish at 9.
Go to the clubhouse and then go back.
But it doesn't always work out that way.
So the way the layout is at Roebuck, we would, you didn't have to go back by the clubhouse till number 12.
And you would just skip hole 12.
And then we would jump across.
Yep.
And then we would play a couple holes twice to get our 18 in. And then basically we would, so we'd either walk and get 18 and pay for 9, or if we were feeling really froggy on that day and it wasn't really busy. And listen, they knew that we were out there.
Sure they did.
That we were playing golf. Like we weren't out there messing around.
No.
I mean, we were actually
problems.
Exactly. And they just would look the other way. It's like these high school guys are, they're actually out there trying to hone their craft. So yeah,
I was going to say they probably appreciate the fact that you're out there just playing golf.
Yeah. So, but
I bet though they had a great snack bar out there.
Oh, Duffer's Grill was fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Sometimes we would go there to get one of their burgers out of the grill, and we weren't even playing golf.
Yeah.
No, it was good stuff. It was absolutely outstanding.
A lot of times those municipal courses, those city courses, is some of the best food you're going to find.
She was and I cannot remember her name, but it was an elderly lady that ran the grill, made the absolute best food.
She smoked cigarettes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
While she was making the hamburgers.
Yeah, I bet it was
absolutely.
Great.
It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It was something else. It was so much fun. That's what we do in the summertime.
We had a deal yesterday, so you know where I play. Y'all know where I play.
Yeah, Show Creek. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. Apparently on number 9, you get on the tee box and then sprinkler. Like the whole this is fire hose sprinkler.
Oh wow.
It goes off. And then I see the teaching professional, he comes riding up. They got like a junior clinic going on at the at the driving range, and he comes up and he is perturbed and he turns it off. And I was like, what's going on? What the sprinkler? He goes, we got somebody here in the neighborhood that thinks it's funny every single day to come down here and turn the sprinkler on.
That would be so annoying.
I was like, is it a kid? He goes, no, I'm pretty sure it's a teenager. He said, and if I catch him, I'm going to wring his neck.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, don't do that. You can get away with that a few years ago. Can't do it anymore.
So there is a story that has been posted by Yahoo Sports. Conrad, you want to give our audience, if you have not seen it, the 411, and I have an update. So after you give the audience a quick Cliff Note version of what's going on according to Yahoo, I will tell you what the University of North Carolina has just said.
I am so honored to share this information with our wonderful listening audience.
I feel like we need some love music.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Maybe the opposite. So the story coming from Yahoo Sports and from Pablo Torre, who some of you probably know from ESPN. He's done a variety of things.
That's a good podcast.
Yeah, has a very good podcast. So he reported this morning with Yahoo Sports that Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has reportedly been banned from the North Carolina football facility. And according to a source close to the Belichick family, quote, there is deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be, not just for North Carolina, but Bill's legacy, reputation, and everything he has built and worked for over decades.
So there's that. Well, the University of North Carolina, literally seconds ago, has just released a statement, and it reads the following. While Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the University of Carolina Athletics, she is a welcome in the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. So despite what Yahoo Sports is reporting, the University of North Carolina felt the need to release a statement saying Jordan is okay to be in the Carolina football facilities.
Oh, that's not what I was hoping that statement was going to say.
No, I wasn't too, because I already had the sign made up. There's only one Jordan allowed in this building.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I like how North Carolina, once again, the haughtiness of the University of North Carolina is she is not an employee at the University of Carolina. They're not the University of North Carolina. It's the University of Carolina.
The Carolinas.
Yeah.
Do you think that Yahoo just received some bad information, or do you think that maybe there was a phone call made from Bill?
All right, here's my thinking. Okay. The whole line of thinking here, when I saw the story, I started putting two and two together. Remember about a week or so ago, I don't know if it was you or Conrad, that read a quote
from the sister-in-law.
Yes, exactly.
Soon to be sister-in-law.
So Yahoo had another conversation with one of Belichick's relatives off the record. And that's the story that you're seeing from Yahoo.
Yeah, it's definitely Steve's wife that's feeding this information, in my opinion. That's my theory.
Yep.
Because she was the one that was quoted in the last one. Steve's not going to say anything. And in case you're wondering, that's Bill Belichick's son. But yeah, I think that she's given this information. She does not like this young hussy.
So I was about to say,
oh, so she's a hussy now.
I don't know. I shouldn't have used hussy. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I called her a side piece the other day.
Well, I thought you meant just like as a side. I didn't think of it in those terms. But yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Poor choice of words, or if that's how you intended it.
No, that's what I meant.
You landed it perfectly.
No. You're right.
So we think so the son's wife is not happy, but he's just not saying anything because he understands he's the head coach in waiting when Bill finally, whenever this thing runs its course.
Yeah.
So he's happy with it, but the wife is, I'm not sitting here and taking this.
No, she's seen enough of this.
I'm not calling her mom.
No, she's seen enough of this. She's and unfortunately, and just being around situations kind of like this in my life experience, a lot of times everyone else can see it, but the person, in this case, Bill Belichick. Or maybe Bill can see it. He just doesn't care.
I was about to say, I feel like he's a very self-aware person, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's
She makes me feel young.
I'm Bill Belichick. I can do whatever I want.
I'm Bill Belichick. I can do what I want. I'm 73 years old. This is the way that I'm choosing to lead the rest of my life.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, that's just where I go back to the whole, if that's what you want to do, fine, but why are you not?
And the age thing is weird, but it takes two to tango. So
she's cool
if
with
they
it.
want to be together, Let them be together.
Well, and we shared this, right? That it has come out that before Belichick, she dated someone else.
An older man.
That was like in his 60s.
Yes.
So this is not the first time she's dated a man.
She apparently has a type.
Decades older than her.
I think daddy issues is fair.
He's mature, Landrum. She needs somebody mature.
Seasoned. She couldn't. I would just think you would just gradually step your way up. Like, I tried dating a 40-year-old and then I went to 50. But then I was like, you know what? I want to find somebody who's really established.
Yeah, I married this old rich man, but then I realized I was going to have to wait for like 30 years to get that inheritance. So I figured I'd just keep working up the ladder.
He was at the house every day and I had to take care of him. Bill still gets out. He's very energetic. He has a busy schedule and I can still do my own thing and spend his money.
Bill doesn't have sleep apnea, and I really like that. It helps me sleep at night. Maybe that's her thing.
We're being way too judgy.
I think this is a situation that deems
that we're spot on.
It's okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we're spot on, but I think it's fair to speculate in this situation.
I just find it interesting how North Carolina felt the need to come out with a statement.
Whoever does their PR, their press releases every day, it's just like,
Do I have to send this to Jordan for her to approve before I put it out?
Wouldn't it be funny if it one day came out that she was the one writing those press releases for North Carolina?
No, at the end of it, it has whatever political whatever pact has. The statement was Jordan Hudson.
This statement approved by the Belichick Productions.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, she needs to be getting ready for Miss Maine. She does not have time for all this foolishness.
She's not getting a lot of votes based on what Molly shared the other day.
No, that dream is shot.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's going to somebody else.
Well,
this is
This is the Friday edition of Three Man Front coming up at the bottom of the hour. Wimp Sanderson will join us. Skip Holtz, a little bit of change of the schedule for Friday. We'll have Skip Holtz at 11. Barrett Sluggy will join us at 11:30. We will open up the phones. 1-800-239-WJOX. 205-834-9450 is the courtesy GMC text line. All that on a busy Friday. This is Jocks 94.5. Coach Webb Sanderson will join us at the bottom of the hour here on Three Man Front. Molly is in Detroit. She'll be back on the show on Monday.
She loves her Tigers.
She does. They got a doubleheader sweep yesterday of the woeful Colorado Rockies. She'll be back with this on Monday, but I do want to point everyone to the Three Man Front Twitter poll question of the day, because starting next Friday, we will begin Molly's Movie Minute, and it has to do, Landrum, with what movies she potentially will have to watch and review for next week.
Yeah, we threw out 4, I think, great ones. Cocaine Bear is one that we've talked about a lot.
Classic movie. Yep. Great movie.
The Firm with Tom Cruise.
Filmed in Memphis.
You'll remember Wilford Brimley, actually, was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Gene Hackman and others. The Goonies. That's a good one.
Classic.
And then The Two Popes, which is not trending well, but I thought it was pretty good.
Well, what's the latest
leading up to the conclave? Right now, it's a runaway. The Goonies, 53.9%.
53% right now, and the voting's going to end in 2 hours and 7 minutes.
This is like One-Eyed Willie in the ship when it escapes the cove.
Probably just call the race now. It's probably going to be the Goonies.
It's going to be the Goonies.
I was really hoping for Cocaine Bear, but
yeah, I was too.
It's all right. We'll have to take matters into our own hands at some point. Well, you can take matters into your own hands because spring weather in Alabama can be really unpredictable, but that's why you can call for the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. And right now, you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. Just go online to find out more at Trane.com.
So last night in Atlanta, Georgia, the Braves and the Reds, they were wrapping up their series before the Braves head to Pittsburgh for the weekend. With the tying run in scoring position with 1 out in the 9th inning, Michael Harris II stepped to the plate.
1-2 pitch. He swings, takes a little jab at it, rolls one into left field. Hitting the bag at third base now is Rosario. Here's the throw to the plate. Here's Eddie. Slide. Save! He's saving. The game's tied. The ball gets through the catcher, goes to the backstop, and in at third base is Harris. Harris never stopped running as it trickled past the catcher, and the winning run is at third. Just a little flare could win the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Line shot, left field. Base hit around third base. Albies. Here's the throw from Lux. Not in time. Braves win as the rookie walked it off in 11 innings. 5-4 your final. The Braves celebrate after winning a game that was wilder than kudzu. Back and forth they went, and Drake Baldwin getting his uniform ripped off in right field. Great moment for the rookie, and the Braves will be flying high to Pittsburgh.
Kudzu.
That was a great line.
That was
really good.
Never heard that one before. That was good.
That was fantastic. So the Braves get the win, but how about Drake Baldwin becomes just the 3rd rookie Braves catcher to have a walk-off hit. First since Christian Bethancourt did it back in 2015. You remember old Christian, don't you?
Ooh.
Name from the past?
Haven't heard or said that name since 2015.
Greg Olson had a walk-off as a rookie back in 1990.
I would have thought Ozzie Virgil.
Nope. Spencer Schwelle, he lasted 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts.
He was better.
Braves have now won 4 of their last 5. They're in Pittsburgh tonight, playing a team that fired their manager yesterday with a 12-26 record. Bryce Elder, 2-1 with a 5.06 ERA on the bump. Pittsburgh will combat that with left-handed pitcher Bailey Falter, who is 1-3, also with a 5.06 ERA. So you got 2 pitchers that have ERAs above 5 tonight in Pittsburgh.
I hope we reverse the trend, because it seems like the Braves, when they are playing a team like the Rockies, like they did a few weeks ago, and you lose that last game instead of getting the sweep, you go back to even last year, early in the season versus a terrible White Sox team and struggling a little bit there. I hope that trend does not continue. Take care of your business. But this is the series, if you remember last year, where Ronald Acuna got hurt.
Sure is. Yeah.
Yep. Tore up the knee. So hopefully get the sweep and continue to, I say, winning baseball. We're not to 500 yet.
Hey,
almost.
With the sweep, though, you'll be 2 games over on Monday.
That'd be nice. Be super nice.
So Ross Dellinger is reporting this morning that a potential 16-team college football playoff bracket has growing Big Ten and SEC support after an in-person meeting as Power Conference commissioners met Thursday in New York, and future college football playoff formats were part of the discussions. So Ross is reporting that now the 16-team CFP variety is gaining some very strong support.
I told you guys if we were going to expand it to 14, why don't we just make it 16? 16 is something that
I agree.
I think a lot of people are comfortable with.
Yep.
Makes it easy for bracketing purposes.
Well, and if we go to 14, we're inevitably going to go to 16 in 2 more years, so you might as well just go ahead and
bite the bullet.
Make it happen. Yep.
Also, the breakdown would be the following: 4 automatic bids for the SEC, 4 for the Big Ten, 2 for the ACC, 2 for the Big 12, 1 for the group of 6, and 3 at large.
Okay.
That's your 16-team breakdown.
Okay, I can live with that. Anything about bid or seating or anything in terms of?
No.
Okay.
So with 4 guaranteed, most years I would think you feel good about at least getting 5 from the SEC.
Yeah, I think the expectation would be you'd have 5 SEC, 5 Big Ten, and then that last at large would be, I guess, Notre Dame, right?
Well, the other aspect to this is Ross is reporting that there potentially could also be that season-ending interleague play-in games. Remember what we had talked about before? Because, for instance, you would have your SEC championship game 1 versus 2 in the league. And then you would have 3 versus 6 in the SEC standings. And then you would have 4 versus 5 in the SEC standings. And then whoever wins those games would get those other automatic qualifying bids.
Along with who played in the conference championship.
Correct. So if you go to the conference championship games, those automatically, they're in. And then you would have those other play-in games would either be, I don't know, let's say a Friday night. The SEC championship game would be on a Saturday. I'm just spitballing here. But you would have those 2 games on a Friday night. So then you would actually go into the SEC championship game pretty much knowing
who was going to be in.
Who was going to be your 4 automatic qualifiers. And there's 3 at-large bids. So
if we go to 9 conference games, there's a potential of you're going to play 10 conference games.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's back to what we had during COVID. I'm good with that. Let's do it.
That. And I guess that's where maybe the buys would come into play, where if you win your conference, they're going to give you a buy because they have to have some sort of incentive, right, for those teams that you're already in the playoff. So if there's no incentive to win the game, why would you not just rest your guys? So I'm sure.
But on the play-in games, though, so clarify that. We've got the title game that's set. Let's just say we've got Georgia and we got Texas.
1 and 2.
We've got Alabama, we've got Ole Miss.
South Carolina.
And
let's just say Auburn.
Okay, and Auburn. That would be
LSU.
But would that? Do you think those teams would have a problem with it? Now, the teams that would be on the outside looking in, they would see that this is a play-in game. We're not going to make the college football playoff if we don't play this game. We don't win this game. But for the other teams that are sitting pretty,
you're the 3 seed.
You're the 3 seed. Do you really want to play that game? I mean, it doesn't matter if you want to or not. You're going to be told you have to play.
No, but I understand.
You're
going to have the coaches that say, so if we hadn't played an extra game, we'd be in the playoff right now. So why are we doing this? Yeah, it's the same argument that we've had with the conference championship games with like USC a few years ago. They were in the playoff. They lose the Pac-12 championship. Then they're not in the playoff anymore.
It's better for the fans. It's better for the TV audience. And everybody makes $1 million.
So what happens if the
roster,
SEC and Destin, when they have this open discussion, what if they say, hold on a second, we need to keep it at 8? Because now if you're going to say that the 3 seed, 4, 5, and 6 are going to have to play that additional game and they're not in the SEC championship game.
Why would we play the extra
Why do we need
game?
to play a 9th conference game?
I shouldn't have said anything.
Way to go. You just ruined it.
Someone's always going to be unhappy.
Coach Wimp Sanderson joins us next, brought to you by Craneworks. This is Jocks 94.5.
10:35, three-man front on a Friday. Landrum, Pat, Conrad. It is time for the coach, Wimp Sanderson. And Coach is brought to us every single week by our friends at Craneworks. And Coach now joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Hey, Coach. Coach?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you loud and clear.
Well, I guess that song doesn't tell me I've faced it all, but I'm not standing very tall.
Been thinking about you.
Well, I appreciate it. We had a great service yesterday, the day before yesterday, and thanks so much to the people at Tuscaloosa coming out, and Barrett and Ed in Florence, and had a lot of players at the service. And I appreciate that. I know people don't want to hear this, but I need to say it anyway. And had Leon, Eddie Phillips, Derek McKee flew all the way in. Gosh, a lot of my guys came in, and I really appreciated everybody. She was 7 years, a long time. So anyway, I'll get away from that. I know y'all don't want to hear that.
Well, no, and I'm glad you said it. You mean a lot to a lot of people, Coach.
Well, it's just heartbreaking, but to see her suffer the way she did, I spoon-fed her for 10 months, and she had at the end she had a stroke on her right side, and we couldn't walk her, and she had a hard time eating, and I stayed right by her the whole time and did everything I could. Anyway, it is what it is, and hopefully she's happy now, and says not happy, but feels better now. I love her so much, still do. So anyway, she was buried there, and right this minute I'm on my way to Tuscaloosa. I'm moving to Tuscaloosa. If I can find a place, so. But that's what my plans are. I don't need to say any more about that. That's not fair to get on here and do that. I think when Nick Saban and the president got together, the president, whether you like him or dislike him, he's got his finger, a hand in a lot of stuff. And I think he, even though he may not, I care for him, I like him. He can help. We need to get the transfer portal changed. We need to get the NIL to where it is even for everybody and not so much cheating and the uncles come in there and doing different things that they want to try to do to get the guy more money and the agents and so forth. So I think Coach having a chance to visit personally with the president behind the scenes before they went out, which they did. They stood in there for 15, 20, 30 minutes and talked. He got over his point about the NIL and about transfer portal and those kinds of things. And I think it's just like the two golf deals, that we're going PGA fighting. I think maybe he's got his hand in too much. Maybe you don't like him. But I think if we like sports, our side of it, I think it's a big help. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I agree, Coach. I guess the proof will be in the pudding because I don't have much faith. Yeah. Not saying in Nick Saban or the president, but as we all know, things get up on Capitol Hill and they seem to die. Yeah. Some of the best ideas. So hopefully they will spur on conversation and something will get done.
Well, yeah. What you have for both you and Landrum is that you have a lot of people there who don't understand. And you have a lot of people there voting that don't care.
Right.
And when you get the I don't understands and the I don't cares together, you got a fight on your hands. Now, Tommy can help some.
Sure.
Tommy can help some. He can go around and help a great deal. The president will help some. There'll be some against him regardless of what he does. And I don't know about Nick Saban. I think he can do what he can do. He's very, very learned, and he's very, 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 very well spoken. And I think those kinds of things, transfer portal's got to be changed. It needs to be changed. Not that it's got to be, but it needs to be. I just think that was a good night for football and basketball and those kinds of things.
I agree. Coach, tampering is the biggest issue that we hear about from coaches. Doesn't matter the sport. And in-season tampering, if you're on the rules committee and they get a lot of this stuff in place and they want to not all the way eliminate it, because I don't think you can, but put down some really, really tough penalties for coaches that get caught tampering, would a show cause potential penalty? Do you think that would be too much?
I don't know. It might not be. You hit it on the head there, because we tampered with no money. When I was coaching for players in the state of in Birmingham with Gene Bartlett, I was trying to go against Gene. We beat him pretty good, and Sonny. You tamper as much as you possibly can. You try to get somebody to go to the guy and say, look, if you'll come, I can't do this for you, but if you'll come, we'll get you a new car, $25,000 more. We don't have to announce. That's it. Really, I promise you that. And so those kinds of things. Your agents, if you said on the show the other day, up to 10% or whatever they are up to, or more than that. So you've got people who try to get you there, and then sometimes they really can't deliver what they said they could deliver. But you think they can, and the mothers and daddies think they can. And so it becomes a situation where, you have a bunch of set rules, but the rules are very easy to be broken. And I know people listen to the show. Well, y'all did all the time. We did very, very little of anything. We gave Mother's Day cards. We might have had tomorrow's Mother's Day or Sunday is. We might have had their hair fixed occasionally, or something like that. My assistants might have something done. It wasn't nothing, like that at all. And so, but that back then was, pretty big. So it's you hit on the head. The tampering area is big. You got a general manager. You got an assistant coach who walks into the general manager and says, "Hey, I thought we could get this guy for 25. It's going to cost us 50." So the general manager now is supposed to take all those calls with every assistant coach that comes there. Now he's got to go back to the boy, whoever the coach is, and find out if he can get more money from the AD, or if they have enough money where they have it now to make those calls. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of effort. We pretty much forgot schooling. Schooling doesn't count. Going to school, get that.
So, Coach, ultimately, do you believe that there will be a resolution to this one way or another, or do you think we're just going to keep spinning our wheels in the mud?
Well, I think it's got a chance, and I hate to try to give you a yes or no, because I'm not sure, but I think we've got a better chance with the president getting in it, because he's a finagler too, and if we can get everybody on the same page. And it's like Landrum said, if we can go ahead and then when they don't get on the same page, if we've got some penalties the way he mentioned to me, and we do it quickly, then it gives us a better chance to keep it the way it should be kept. What do you think? You answer that for me, for our listeners. What do you think?
I think ultimately it's going to have to, and it's going to be collective bargaining. That's what's going to happen. Okay. I think that there will be a new entity. It's not going to be an NCAA, but I think the Big Ten and the SEC will come up with a new entity with new rules. And then moving forward, players will not negotiate with the individual schools. They will negotiate with that entity from a collective bargaining agreement. And that's where you're going to get salary caps and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, salary caps means you pay insurance. I mean, you pay Social Security and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Is that not correct?
Yes, that is.
And so people, they all hate in the rear about that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's You two guys do a good job on the show. You have more answers than I do, but I look back and think about what I would have done if I was, and I had to fight like a devil to keep Bartow and them. We got every player but one in Birmingham because he had a bigger name than I did when I got the job, and it wasn't easy to do. But the one thing that saved me was our alumni. I had about 5 or 6 guys who would do anything in the world to help me. I got to see Enos Watley the other day, and he's the only guy in America the only guy I ever tried to recruit that didn't show up for the official visit. And he said, and I threw that up at him in front of a bunch of people. He said, "You say that every time I'm around you." And we were supposed to visit with him in his home with his mother, and he never showed up. His daddy was out in the front yard working on cars, and he never made the appearance. I'm thinking to myself, I told Leroy going down the sidewalk, how in the crap are we going to get Enos Watley if we can't even get it for the official visit? He said, "I don't know, Coach." I said, "Well, Enos, why wouldn't you?" Yeah, I didn't get that, Coach. I just, all that kind of jazz for that. So it was fun to not at the place I was, because I was at his funeral, but it was good to see Enos come all the way from Maryland. I really appreciate it. So I don't have an answer. It's interesting to see with the president in there. I think Nick Saban will do a good job of directing him. He doesn't know it all. He just knows a little bit. The president doesn't know. Every time that Nick would say something, the president, Nick would say something. The president would say, "Really?" So, he didn't really understand exactly what all was going down, but now I think he does. Whether that helps or not, I don't have the answer, and y'all don't either.
Nope. It remains to be seen. By the way, Coach, your Cleveland Indians got a big series coming up this weekend. You host the Phillies. Take care of business.
Yeah, and I need y'all need to pick up the Cleveland Indians a little bit more. I've been very disappointed.
Hey, Coach, did you know that there was a story earlier this week, and I tried to run it down to see if there was any validity to it, but there's a story coming out of Ohio that there have been behind-the-scene negotiations to try to return the Guardians to the Indians' name.
Well, we need to. We went backwards on that. That's a bunch of baloney. We don't need no Guardians. I don't want to do all crap like that. I went up there when I was 10 years old. I knew all about it, and then I went back. I tell the story every time. I've got new listeners. I hitchhiked from Florence, Alabama. If you hitchhiked today, you'd be dead by the time you got to St. Joe, Tennessee. so if you hitchhike today, and let me tell you something. If you hitchhike, do not get off in the middle of a city. I got off in the middle of Louisville, me and my buddy, and we never got a ride from the middle of the city to the outskirts of the city. Don't hitchhike. You got to get somebody that's going to take you through Louisville or through a city. Don't get off in the middle of the city, because these booger bears. When I was coming back, the guy said, "I said, they put us out at the end of side of Cleveland, coming back to Florence." And the first guy said, "Would you mind driving?" I said, "No, sir. I'll be glad to." So I knew he wasn't going to shoot me because I was driving his car. So I was in good shape there. So anyway, and the funny part about it, I know I'm telling the same thing, but when I was 10 years old, my mother put $10 on my underwear and put a red comb in my mouth, in my pocket, pardon me, and $10 to my underwear. And she told the traveler's aide to look for the red comb. The traveler's aide took me off the train in Cincinnati and put me in a movie. And for 3 hours, when the train was time for the train to go to Cleveland, I got out of the movie, and we got on the Hummingbird. And I've told this story before, but just get over it. We get on the Hummingbird. We're halfway there. The cotton picket Hummingbird has a wreck. It has a bad wreck, and we got to stop the train for hours. And I'm nervous as I can be. I'm 10 years old, and when my kinfolks got there to get me, they thought something happened. Then it's a long story about that. So anyway, but when I hitchhike, hitchhiking is not easy, but it did okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys having me on. I didn't mean to bring up too much about Annette, but
no, Coach.
She meant a lot of business. So, and just hard deal. And I know y'all want to get me off. I don't blame you.
No.
Crane Works. Yeah, I'll talk about Crane Works. They'll build it up, break it down. David and them do a terrific job, whether it be Huntsville or Mobile or Birmingham or wherever it might be, Nashville. They'll do everything they possibly can to do a good job with you. In rental work, you can rent equipment, and an operator will come over and help you with the rental, with the work of it, and save you some money. So you want to go to, if it's a smaller item, then Rental Works will come in there, and then that's big. So anyway, I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and I look forward to, Sunday's a tough day where it's Mother's Day. My three boys did. Let me tell you this. I'll hush. My three sons spoke at the service, and Melvin Cheatham, who has made a big name for himself in work, spoke, and he did an absolute terrific job. And he spoke on behalf of all our players. Anyway, I thank all these guys, the people that listen to our show, that have written me notes and called me, and I appreciate it. And thank you again.
We love you, Coach. All right,
Coach.
Thank you.
Let us know if you need anything. Coach Wimp Sanderson, we continue.
Always appreciate Wimp Sanderson joining us each and every Friday here on Three Man Front. No, Coach is going through a lot. Our thoughts and prayers with him and his family. Been a very rough last week and a half, as he detailed. It's been a long time as he was taking care of his wife for a good bit of time. So thoughts are with Coach and his family as
for sure.
Coach joins us each and every Friday, brought to you by Craneworks. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, Skip Holtz, the head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions. He will join us. The Stallions are at home on Sunday, taking on their next opponent. And we'll see if they'll be able to continue their winning ways as the Stallions find themselves now with a 4-2 record. It will be Mother's Day, 11 o'clock kickoff there at Protective Stadium. 11:30, we'll talk some Braves with Barrett Salee from the Braves Radio Network. You can hear those games this weekend on Jocks.
We got the Roughnecks coming in.
Houston.
Yep. Then on the road, taking on St. Louis, the Dome at America Center next week.
Yep. Saw where Tim Brando is going to be on the call for that game.
Timmy B.
For Fox, yeah. He used to do the original USFL games back for ESPN back in the mid-'80s.
Had good hair back then.
Fantastic hair.
They all did. More three-man front. The coach, Skip Holtz, is next.
It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in on this Friday. Pat Landrum, Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, the head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions, Skip Holtz, joins us here on the program. Coach, hope you're doing well on this Friday.
Doing great on this Friday. How's everybody doing there in Birmingham?
We are doing well, just crossing our fingers, hoping for some good weather like you had last weekend. It was nice to see Protective Stadium in the sunshine and no rain. So maybe we'll deliver that up on Sunday for you.
Well, we're certainly hoping for that, for sure. We have had our share of rain since we've been there in Birmingham.
So let's go back to last weekend, Coach. A win is a win, and it seemed like your offense started percolating. How pleased were you with the offensive side of things last week?
No, I felt like, I thought the offense played much better, and obviously Case Cookus in his second game seemed much more comfortable at the quarterback position. We were able to get a running game going a little bit, had some success there with both CJ and Ricky. I thought we executed much better as an offense. And as we talked about last week, probably my biggest frustration on offense has just been the amount of revolving door that we've just had so many different players that have been going that it seems like every week you're getting somebody's first game. This is Case's preseason game. This is his first game. This is, we had lost, the center was out, Snyder was out. We expect him back this week. I feel like we did some much better things, and hopefully we can grow on that and build on that, getting ready for this week.
Coach, I'm curious, when you have to go and find replacements for these guys and you're limited with the amount of guys that you can carry on your roster, what does that look like? Is there a pool of guys, or are they just are they staying in shape? Obviously, what you just make a phone call and say, "Hey, you interested? You want to come play?"
Well, that's it. You've got a list of guys that are potential free agents, and obviously when Matt Corral went down, we added Jamar Smith, who was on the roster last week for us. And then when Andrew Peasley went down, we had to bring in another quarterback for this weekend, and we brought in Jalen Morton, who was with us 2 years ago or last year during camp, and was with us 2 years ago. But to me, when you're bringing a quarterback in mid-season like this, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there, maybe even that have just been released from an NFL camp, et cetera, from a free agent standpoint. But to me, the knowledge of the offense is more important than the talent at that point. And that's not to take anything away from Jamar or Jalen's talent, but we've got guys that have been in this offense, that know this offense, that are more ready to step in and play than somebody maybe that you're coming in and teaching from scratch, as we started with Andrew Peasley a couple weeks ago.
All right, Coach, let's talk about your defense, because San Antonio, they were 0 for 10 on third down, held to 178 yards of total offense. It just looked like that defense was swarming, and San Antonio just could not get anything going.
Yeah, I think defensively we're playing really well. We're not I don't want to say we're not very complicated, because we do enough things from a coverage standpoint to mix some things up. But I think really those individuals are playing really well. I think we've got 4 linebackers playing really well right now, and Tozino, Crowder, Gates, and Chappelle are all playing really well. A.J. Thomas has been a staple for us in the secondary. We get Kenny Robinson back this week. We get Mario Goodrich back this week from injury. So hopefully we can get even stronger. And I think, when you look at it, we gave up 150 yards, but I think 120 of them were on big plays. We've got to do a little bit better job in making sure that we're not giving up the big play and not make them snap it again. But I think our defense is playing really well as a unit, as a group. We've stayed healthy, and I think they've gotten better and better and more confident and comfortable each and every week that we've had the opportunity to play. I think Bradley Ane continues to do some great things at the defensive end, creating a lot of pressure. And Carlos Davis, Winfrey, those guys up front are doing some really good things for us. So we just have to stay together, keep doing what we're doing, keep coming along as an offense, and find a way to win one game as we go through this process. And you play a 10-game regular season schedule, and what you want to make sure is you're playing your best football towards the end of the season. And so that's the challenge. And we're getting some guys healthy, we're getting some guys back. And so with all the experience that some of these new guys have gotten, hopefully it's only going to make us a stronger team as we get ready for this stretch, this run going down the stretch.
Coach, I don't want to put you on the spot. You say you're getting some guys back and healthy without pinpointing an exact time, but the quarterback position, that's one that you've obviously been hampered with the injuries in the early part of the season. Any updates that you can give us on either Magoo or Corral?
Yeah, I think Alex Magoo's progressing along nicely. He is, from what he was doing to strengthen himself to be ready to play. I know he's got medical appointments today, but we are hoping that he is to that point where he's going to get cleared and potentially able to join us next week. I think Andrew Peasley, who's out this week, has got a chance maybe to be back next week. We're going to have to see how much progress he's made. And then Matt Corral isn't going to be towards the end of the season. He'll be towards the end of the season because of the significance of his injury and the length of recovery time. So hopefully we can get Magoo and Peasley back, and it's only going to strengthen the room with all the work that Case Cookus has received.
All right, I got to ask you about this week's opponent because it hasn't even been a month since you went down to Houston and knocked off the Roughnecks. Talk to us about the preparation for this team because now they're sitting there at 3-3, and this is a very big game for both teams in the standings.
Oh, this is a pivotal game for both teams. Really, when you look at they're really hot right now. They've won 3 of their last 4. The only game they lost was ours. They won the game before us, and they've won the 2 since us. So, it's hard anytime you're playing somebody for a second time. Just from a motivational standpoint, when you come out victorious in the first game, it's only adding fuel to the fire to your opponent. So I know that they're hot right now. Their quarterback's playing really well. They've won 3 out of 4 games. They're going to come into Birmingham understanding that a win here, not only does it move them up a game in the standings, but it drops us 1. And so when you start playing these division games, every game is almost worth 2. So I think this is a huge game for us. I think this has an opportunity to really separate the standings if we can find a way to win the game, but it's going to be a very competitive game. It's going to be a hard-fought game, and with the significance in the division race for the top 2 teams getting into the playoffs, I think it's an important game, and that's why I think it's so important with it being this weekend, Mother's Day weekend. Hopefully the rain will stay away, but we need the crowd support. Playing at home is a huge advantage. We've had a lot of success there over the years because the crowd that shows up has been very knowledgeable and very loud. But we're going to need as many people in the seats as we can get this week because we're going to need the support going into this game.
Coach, obviously injuries has played a big part of it, but if you had to compare so far at this point in this season compared to last year, the development, the chemistry of your team and coming together, and I realize injuries have factored into it, but where would you put this season compared to some of those others in the past?
I think we're still trying to find ourselves because there's been so many different faces in the lineup. The offensive line has had I think we've had the same lineup 2 weeks in a row once. And so you've got a lot of different faces that are playing on the offensive line, a lot of new places when you talk about Sutherland and with Darius Harper being back and Barry Wesley. So we've had a lot of different rotations in the offensive line. Obviously, we've had a lot of different rotations at the quarterback position where you carry 3, and right now we have 6 on our roster. And so it's been very difficult. We've run out of quarterback numbers, to put quarterbacks in eligible numbers because we've had so many of them. So I would say that's the biggest difference. Like in year 2, we played both Alex and Jamar. In year 1, we played both Alex and Jamar. In year 3, we played both Adrian and Matt. But I think this one's taken it to a whole nother level in that we have 4 quarterbacks that have played for us so far this season, and Alex, Matt, Andrew Peasley, and Case Cookus. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing is just trying to create that stability. We've had 2 offensive linemen that have been put onto IR, and Latavius Simmons and Jaron Jones and LaMichael Petway, a tight end. And so we've just had a revolving door on offense. Defensively, we've been a little bit more healthy, but I would say that's the biggest difference between this year and years past. In years past, you had a roster that had pretty much played 6 games together, and you were really starting to get on the same page and feel comfortable with what everybody was doing. But with this year, I still think we're trying to find our identity with so many new faces, and hopefully we can pull that together here in the final 4 weeks of the season.
How's the Thicka Kicka? You keeping him fed? Plenty of groceries?
No, he is doing great. I love the guy. I love him. He is doing really Harrison. He's such a great young man, and he's got an awful lot of talent. He's playing with a lot of confidence right now. He has been really 100% outside of that long field goal we tried in the Memphis game, but he has been great, and can't say enough positive things about him. I thought he was a great addition, a great pickup, and I think as he continues to do what he's doing, I think he's going to get a great opportunity to kick it in the NFL if that's what he wants to do. But I think he's going to have that opportunity. So glad we have him right now, because he's definitely. I don't even think about. When we kick a field goal, I don't even think it might not be good. That's how much confidence I have in him. It's like, all right, do I want to take the 3 points or go for it on fourth? He's been great for us. I'm glad we got him.
Well, he continues a proud tradition of Stallions kickers, that's for sure. And you guys have done a wonderful job of gathering those guys each and every season. Coach, we appreciate the time. We will see you at Protective Stadium, 11 a.m. kick on Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to your wife, and we'll see you very, very soon. Let's get a win. Let's go 1-0 this week.
Well, exactly. And you know what? Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are out there this weekend. Enjoy your day, and we really appreciate the sacrifice and commitment you've made to give us the opportunity to be who we are, because everybody has a mother.
Amen.
And so certainly looking forward to this day to be able to honor those mothers that are out there. So thank you very much.
Coach, safe travels. We'll see you Sunday.
See you Sunday. Giddy up.
Giddy up. Coach Skip Holtz joining us, as all of our guests do, on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
I have a message for homeowners. If you got a leaky roof or just thinking about an upgrade, listen up. Did you know Abide Roofing boasts a perfect 5-star rating on Google? That's right, a perfect 5-star rating. Don't just take my word for it. Check out some of what your neighbors are saying on Google. One happy homeowner raves, Abide Roofing did an amazing job from start to finish. Another says they were very quick to come out and work closely with our insurance for a complete roof replacement. The work was fast, professional, and it looks amazing. I can speak from experience about Travis Lloyd and his local roofing team. They're absolute pros who handled my new roof replacement efficiently, and it was stress-free. Outstanding customer service, excellent workmanship, top quality materials, punctual, flawless finish. Could not be happier with the product. Matter of fact, I enjoy in this product that he put on my roof better than the one that I originally had when I built the home. Call Abide Roofing today for that free roof inspection, 205-922-7134, or go to their website, abideroof.com. They're absolute pros, and they can take care of you today. Don't wait. Give your home the protection it deserves from Abide Roofing, 205-922-7134. More three-man front on this Football Friday. We got CFP to talk about. We'll talk Braves at the bottom of the hour. Your texts as well at 205-834-9450. If you missed any of our interviews already this morning, Wimp Sanderson joined us in hour number 1. Just wrapped up with Skip Holtz. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Barrett Sallee will talk about the hot Atlanta Braves, winners of 4 of 5. They're in Pittsburgh over the weekend, playing a rudderless ship that is the Pittsburgh Pirates as they fight. You like to see what I did there?
I love how you did that. Let's take the wind out of those sails.
Yeah, that's right. Fire those cannonballs across the bow for the Atlanta Braves as they take on the Pirates this weekend that are 12-26.
Shoot the parrot.
Let's not go that far.
Keep the parrot.
I don't want it PETA outside the studio. Come on.
Please do not shoot exotic birds.
Yes.
Would a parrot be considered an exotic bird?
Is Ed's Pet World still in Homewood?
Well, the building is.
I think it's still open.
Is it?
It was a couple years ago because I went in there. It's a fascinating place every time you go.
It always has been fascinating.
Yes,
they did one of my son's birthday parties.
Did they?
What? You had a birthday party?
They brought all the Now they did some good birthday parties back in the day.
I'm telling you, it was top of the line.
Did they bring the albino python?
Oh yeah, they brought the snakes.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
it's open right now.
Is it?
Yeah, we'll just end the show. We'll go down there real quick.
Drive by there, but I'm never really sure. You know,
they're open.
Okay, I might go in there. That's. I got my first snake bite in there.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it was a corn snake, and everything about the snake said, "Don't hold me." And the guy at the time who was running the place,
you're fascinated with snakes.
I wasn't. I was in junior high and high school, not anymore.
Well, no. Hold on a second. You did a video in San Antonio. You were fixated on the dude on the Riverwalk that had the snake.
That was more for
entertainment purposes.
Well,
not
yeah.
for you?
And the comment that I was going to get from the guy.
Oh, I got you.
He was a little spacey.
I may have misspoken about Ed's Pet World. So this is a news story from back in December of last year. It said that Ed's Pet World is for sale. The business is going to close after 50 years. The location was put up for sale for $2 million, and he is going to move his business to a new, it looks like a comic book store that he is opening in West Homewood, but he is continuing to offer birthday party services. So he still has the animals.
Okay.
So if you want to have at your kid's birthday party a bunch of snakes and things like that.
Does it have to be a kid's party?
Well, no, you could.
Be an adult, an adult.
I didn't think about that, but yes, Landrum for you. Well, we just missed it, but we could have had it for your birthday
next year.
We'll bring them up. Well, here to the station.
Next year we're doing the special one at Social Taco.
Yeah, we've already got that planned.
That's right.
Cinco de Mayo falls on a Tuesday, which is our day to be at Social Tacos.
Cinco de Landrum.
Yes.
So your 48th birthday, we will have the
48th. Yeah, but we're doing the limo next year.
Well, yeah. Of course.
He's going to pick all of us up before the show.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I heard him. I'm
but
excited.
you have to dress up. You have to be in character.
Oh, I'll wear a tux.
No, we're not wearing tuxes.
Oh, then what are we wearing?
No, you're gonna look the part.
He wants you to dress up like Pancho Villa.
That's right.
You want me to dress up like the chauffeur?
No, Pancho Villa.
That would be good. But yeah, Pancho Villa.
Okay.
How about our friends at Dobbs Ford? Nothing says Happy Mother's Day than your wife, your mom, driving one of those beautiful new Dobbs Fords. From the Mustangs, Mustang convertible, just in time for summertime. Mom would love that. The Broncos Sports, the F-150s, and right now you're going to get special Ford employee pricing on select makes and models. Rachel and Joey Goshen, wonderful people. Rachel's a great mom. Their son, Austin, heads up the sales department. The entire team there at Dobbs Ford, they're going to take care of you, and that's why I recommend them, because I know it. I've seen it firsthand, and we've had Jocks listeners that have bought cars, trucks, SUVs from Dobbs Ford, and they've said, you were right. I've never dealt with a dealership that was more courteous, friendly, and just down to earth. Dobbs Ford, they'll beat any competitor's price. You're going to get top dollar for your trade. They got a great pre-owned selection as well. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Check out Alabama's largest showroom selection, DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Right there on Parkway East. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
Our friend Nick Kelly from AL.com, he has been back in Tuscaloosa this week. He has been covering the capital murder trial for Michael Davis. He is the friend of ex-Alabama player Darius Miles. Well, they have just completed testimony, and the defense has now rested. So Nick Kelly thinks that there potentially could be a verdict as early as this afternoon. Now, this is not Darius Miles's trial. This is Michael Davis, the friend of ex-Alabama player Darius Miles. Brandon Miller was in town, 2 days ago? Conrad, he was testifying.
Jaden Bradley was there 3 days ago, I believe.
Yeah, the University of Arizona guard who had transferred from Alabama. to Arizona. So we will keep apprised of what's going on with Nick Kelly because Nick has been there from the get-go.
And a really tough weekend for especially the victim's family.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a mom.
Yep.
And just a horrible, horrible thing.
So
maybe gets a little bit of closure there.
So we'll see if they come back with a verdict this afternoon. Still no trial date for Darius Miles. So we'll see if anything happens this afternoon with the Michael Davis murder trial there in Tuscaloosa. Speaking of Tuscaloosa, Alabama baseball, they have just announced moments ago that in an attempt to avoid as much of the incoming weather that is supposed to affect Alabama on Saturday, number 23 Alabama will no longer play a single game this afternoon against Georgia. They will now take on the Bulldogs in a doubleheader, which will begin at 4 o'clock. I've already told you that Auburn and South Carolina, they have decided to play a doubleheader starting at 1 o'clock today down in Auburn to wrap up that series. So Bama and Georgia, they will play 2 beginning at 4 o'clock. Game 2 will take place 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. Both games on Friday are going to be played 9 innings. So unless there is a complete blowout like we had at Auburn last night, which that was a 7-inning game, by the way. That was not a 9-inning game.
It could have ended it after 5. It was 24-2 after 5.
Yeah. 24-2 was the final score.
Auburn kicked the field goal late.
Yeah. At the end of 3, it was 12-1. It was 24-1 after 5 innings. The third most runs in an SEC game in program history. But more importantly, Brian Harson's 2 Auburn teams only mustered 17 points and 22 points against South Carolina, where the baseball team scored 24 in one night. So, did Brian Harsin tweet out a picture of him drinking coffee?
To the
Cheers
winners.
to the winners.
Yeah.
Or
Cheers to the
whatever?
winners.
Yeah.
Probably not. He's too busy trying to put together a roster.
Yeah, I was about to say he's too busy trying to go along the coastline of California at the junior college circuit looking for players because they have none at
I was
California.
about to say he might be taking some snaps with the third team offense at this point.
Unbelievable. So earlier this morning, a interesting story came out from Pablo Torre. He revealed interviews with numerous sources on his podcast, and these sources are close to the Belichick family in North Carolina, and they're discussing the relationship between Jordan Hudson and Coach Belichick, and Torre said that she has been banned from the North Carolina football facilities. On the podcast, Torre also said those sources have told him that Belichick's family is worried that Hudson could diminish the 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach's legacy. That then sent the University of North Carolina in full spin mode. They released the following statement. While Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the University of Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities of Carolina football and the university. End of statement.
Do you think that Jordan Hudson, because of all of this backlash and the publicity that everything has gotten surrounding their relationship, you think she takes a back seat and she realizes she can read the room? Or
No.
do you think her personality
Not a
says,
chance.
I'm going to be out there?
She loves this. This is what she wanted all
She's
along.
doing her job.
Yeah.
Her job is to keep Bill Belichick's name out in the general public, and that's exactly what she's doing.
She's tearing apart a family.
Whose
Well,
family?
She already did that.
Yeah, Belichick's.
She is looking at this through the lens of a 24-year-old who's on social media all the time and knows how that world works. That's how she's seeing it. And in that perspective, it has worked.
Think how many times this week that you think that it's dying down and then something else will bubble up.
I know, it's like the Nico story just keeps on giving.
So here's my question. Is this the first college football press release about a girlfriend since Mentai Teo?
Well, I guess you'd have to go back further because that technically she didn't exist. She wasn't even a real girlfriend.
Well, if you watch the
Well, okay,
I can't
yes, it
unsee
was
that
yes.
in the moo.
Okay, yes.
that was just a great week in Miami.
I'm sure it was.
That was so much fun. the jokes just we pissed off all the people from Chicago that was there covering the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at the hotel. Just nonstop jokes about Teo's girlfriend. It was fantastic.
Then Saban hurt their feelings.
Just ran them out of the building.
Well, they were distracted.
I'm trying to think the last time we had any kind of girlfriend scandal.
In college football?
Yeah.
Was the motorcycle incident, was that a girl? Well, that was a...
Well, they weren't.
That was like Pat's term.
They had not announced their relationship to...
That really was.
That was the side piece.
That
to,
absolutely
to their
was.
husband or their wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was sidecar.
That was fun doing sports talk radio during that time frame, too.
I can imagine. I can only...
That was gold.
Especially back then, you could get away with a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you think that tarnished the legacy of Bobby Petrino?
Does he have a legacy?
Well, exactly.
I don't think it's...
I will tell you what, if Jordan worked for Bobby Petrino, I think she would have been able to take care of business.
Do you think that this has tarnished Belichick's legacy?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't think so.
No.
Again, time heals all wounds, right? In 20 years, we're not going to look back on Bill Belichick because of this situation. You're going to remember what he did with the Patriots.
No, that's right. It's like we remember Jordan as number 23.
Let's be honest. Most dudes go, good for him. Like you're clapping your hands.
Yeah,
we got a lot of listeners.
Okay.
If you're 70 years old and single and you have a 20-year-old that wants to be with you, yeah.
But I also know that there's a lot of other people in our audience that are going, that is absolutely the sickest thing that I could ever imagine. And that's just vile.
Yep.
Is it a double standard? Because if it was
yes, we would view it differently.
Yeah, we would.
We would.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was a 74-year-old female that was dating
a 25-year-old male, yeah.
That would be.
Yeah, let's just say I don't know how old she is. I saw her on a morning show yesterday promoting something. But if you had Christy Brinkley dating your...
She's 70? She looks good for however old she is.
Yeah, she looks fantastic.
She is 71.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, Paige.
What?
I'm just
You can say it's okay. I think it's all right.
Yeah, she's 70. It's not competition.
No.
She looks very good for her age though.
She does.
See,
but
now
it's
I do
definitely
wonder
a double standard.
It is, but I also wonder with someone like that, I feel like it might be received different just because of it's Christy Brinkley, right?
Yeah.
You get some bonus points.
There's yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's bonus points. Potentially your buddies put you on Rushmore.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yes. I agree.
Pat, do you agree?
What? Buddies would put you on Mount Rushmore if you were 24 and you're dating Christy Brinkley?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a legend at that point.
Yeah. No doubt. Barrett Sully is going to join us next. Talk a little Braves baseball. This is the Friday edition of Three Man Front. It is 11:33. Jocks 94.5. Barrett Sallee is going to join us from the Braves Radio Network. The Braves start a weekend series in Pittsburgh. We'll talk to him about the Braves winners of 4 of their last 5 coming up momentarily. You know, owning a home is great, but it can come with its share of headaches at times. Some of you out there are having foundation issues. Cracks have started showing up. Those doors and windows just won't close right. You can't ignore it because those issues are only going to get worse. That's why you need to call Alabama Professional Services, 205-951-9717. It'll be the best decision you make to protect your home. APS is going to send a team out. They really know their stuff. They'll inspect everything, explain the problem early and clearly, and they'll offer those solutions that are tailored especially for your home. No pressure, just honest advice. What will impress you about APS is their professionalism, quality of the work, top-notch products, and service. So if you're dealing with foundation issues, call APS today. They can also look at your wet basement or the sinking concrete. Do yourself a favor, call APS today. That number, 205-951-9717 or alabamaprofessional.com.
He is the pride of the ATL, pre- and post-game host on the Braves Radio Network. It's our friend Barrett Sallee, and he joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Happy Friday. Great win. Good for my psyche, my emotions. How are you, Barrett?
I'm good. Absolutely good for my psyche and emotions. And, hey, you know what? It was still a somewhat successful homestand, and I'm not going to say what the Braves are one game away from, but because I jinxed that 4 times this year already.
Me too.
But tonight's a big game in terms of all of our psyches.
For sure. Quick update though, because I was going to ask you about it anyways. Ronald Acuna. Any expected timeline, or is it still pretty hush hush?
It's still pretty hush-hush. Yesterday, last week when we talked to Snit, he said that Ronnie was going out to L.A., and then the Braves quickly said, no, that's not the case. But as far as we know, I think the timeline is probably mid to late May for a rehab, if that's even necessary, and then late May for him to come back up. It's been hush-hush for a while, but that's the indication that I'm getting right now.
What is the verdict? What are you hearing on Profar after he serves his suspension? We're gonna just throw him back out there? Give me your thoughts. I know.
No, I don't think so. If Verdugo picks it up and is what he used to be, 5-6 days ago, I would say Profar has to win his job back. If Eli White continues to do what he's doing, I would say that Profar has to get his job back. I think it's interesting today they designated Rosario for assignment and called up Luke Williams. So now they have Stuart Fairchild and Luke Williams to play what Eli White did last year, which is that dedicated pinch runner kind of role. So to me, that indicates that when Profar comes back, that he's going to have to win his job, whether it be from Verdugo or from Eli White / whoever else is out there. So, look, I think there's now a mindset out there that maybe Profar's one good season was because of the juice.
Right.
If that's the case, then we would expect him to regress to the mean. I would imagine he gets his job back initially, but there will be a quick hook because there is some doubt as to why anybody would pay him that much money based on one good year. And maybe the Braves are kicking themselves, although it's not that much money. I think everybody kind of wanted him, but he does not have the job when he comes back. He's going to have to win it back.
All right, so Spencer Strider, he threw a bullpen a couple of days ago. What was the verdict? How did he feel yesterday? What's the timeline for him?
Well, he told us that he feels fine, that he wants to go out there right now, but that he's not a doctor, obviously, and that's not surprising for him. But Snitker told us that he's going to, like you said, he's going to throw a bullpen Saturday and see how he feels. To me, the indication was that he's not going to need a rehab because Spencer's not like a lot of other players. He is insanely cerebral and insanely in tune with his body. I know professional athletes generally are, but he is like a whole different level. So once he gets cleared by the doctors, it is going to be on him. Does he need to go down to Gwinnett and get a start, or is he going to get thrown back in? My instinct, my gut is that when he's ready to go, he's ready to go. He's not going to go have a rehab because there's really nothing left for him to do. If his hamstring's fine, his hamstring's fine. His legs are a huge part of what he does, but we call him Quadzilla for a reason. He's focused a lot on his legs over his career. So I would imagine, for me, if I'm guessing, he does a bullpen Saturday. They see how he feels Sunday. And at that point, they probably put him back into the normal rest in terms of the rotation. I wouldn't think they'd put him back out there on Monday. I would just imagine that they would treat Saturday like he started, and then go through the normal routine over the next 4 days and get him a start either against the Nationals at the end of next week or maybe the week after.
What are your biggest concerns right now? I want you to go player specific. Which guys and the way that they're trending concern you the most right now moving forward, Barrett?
Ozzie.
Yeah.
I mean, Ozzie, to me, it's going to be he's so aggressive at the plate that he's trying to swing his way out of a slump.
Yep.
And he just can't do that. He's jumping at first pitches. He's popping things up. It's just, to me, I don't know what it is with Ozzie, whether it's the lower body injuries from the last couple of years or whatever, but his swing looks a little different. He's closed his right-handed swing more than maybe we've seen in the past. He's still almost parallel to the line in the back, but he has closed a little bit. I don't know what the deal is with him, but it doesn't seem like he's getting better, and it really doesn't seem like he's adjusting either, and that's the most concerning part. So I think there's still faith that since he is a veteran that maybe he can fix things, but it doesn't look like he's really doing all that he needs to do, which is odd to me. So yeah, it's Ozzie for me. And I never thought I'd be sitting here saying that, but he has regressed offensively, and he's not really doing what I think he needs to do to fix it. And he's not going the extra mile, and I don't get it.
Barrett Slea joins us from the Braves Radio Network. You can hear Barrett on the pregame and postgame show right here on Jocks 94.5. So I want to get your assessment of the two teams in front of Atlanta in the standings. Your thoughts so far through the first 37, 38 games for the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies, the two teams in front of Atlanta in the NL East.
I'm still more concerned about the Phillies. I know the Mets have gotten out to their great start, and everybody's happy, and good for them. I'm glad their fans are happy about baseball, but we've seen what the Mets generally do, and Juan Soto is still a liability in the outfield. I know he's going to hit the ball hard, but that back of that lineup is still not what I think it needs to be. But the Phillies, we know what their pitching staff can be. We've seen it. And the back end of that lineup is far more dangerous. And Kyle Schwarber, what's his on-base streak is like 39 or 40, something, 42 games or something like that. I mean, when Kyle Schwarber's getting on base, that's a problem. That's a big time problem because it sets everybody else up. So I'm more concerned about the Phillies. I've kind of been that way since the start of the season. Have I come off of it a little bit? Yeah. I mean, the Mets start was phenomenal, but I just can't see it. I can't see them sustaining that because there are holes in that lineup, especially on the back end.
What potential moves could you see Anthopoulos and the Brain Trust making as we get closer to the All-Star break?
Well, there would be a bench move, I think, because having Luke Williams up in place of Eddie Rosario, you're sort of feeling that I don't really care that you are on this team, but we need to have a bat sort of role, right?
Yeah.
Adam Duvall was that last year. There's no depth, so let's just get a dude up here that has a pulse. That probably needs to change. So that would be one that I think would be the case. The bullpen has been fantastic. I know Raisel Iglesias is getting all the criticism. The Braves have the second best bullpen in the league if you look at opponents' batting average behind San Diego. So do you try to get a different closer? I think the answer is probably no, but I think you go out and get a guy who could be an option at closer if Raisel, if you need to have a quick hook on Raisel or Iglesias, because they feel like, I'm talking to folks around there, they know Daysbel Hernandez can be that guy, and we've seen Pierce Johnson be that guy in Colorado. Having another option, I think, is something that they might go get and go do, because I don't know if it's Iglesias on multiple days in a row struggling or pressing. I do think he's pressing a little bit, but there needs to be another option out there where, you say, all right, look, If we can't go to Iglesias one day, or he's not feeling it, okay, here's what we're going to do from a matchup perspective. So there aren't many of those guys out there right now because everybody's still sort of in it. But that would be something that I think they're interested in as well. Everybody's looking for bullpen arms, but the Braves have been, I think, really good outside of Iglesias. And so I think having different options if he starts to stumble even more would be something they look at.
Home plate umpire last night, Brian Walsh. He was horrible. That guy's poo.
Oh my gosh, I haven't looked at his report card today, but I'm assuming it's horrible.
You and Pat can help me out with this. I'm pulling up the rating, and last night, oh goodness, there are a lot of stats here. What stat am I looking for, Pat, in particular?
There's an umpire report card on some dude on Twitter does it every single day.
Yeah, the umpire auditor, if you follow him on social media.
His accuracy for the season is 94.4%.
That's not good.
No.
Mm-mm. Okay.
That's
I didn't
really
think so.
not good.
Last night he was bad. He was just really bad.
Yeah, it was. Who was it that was it Pierce Johnson or was it somebody else that it was against Ellie De La Cruz. I think it was Dylan Lee, threw like 5 strikes and eventually got him out, but it was like, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We're very fortunate there because I think the bases were juiced at that point last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was first and third, I think.
Or first and third. That's right.
I mean, it's some of these guys. Look, I'm not one to go all in on umpires.
I'm not either.
It's really, really hard. I mean, when you go and see that, like, it's really hard to get all of them right. But if you're calling pitches right down the middle balls and you're calling, balls in the opponent's other side of the batter's box strike, something's up.
Well, the ones that he was not calling, those are the ones that change a game because you're giving a guy like Ellie De La Cruz an extra swing.
Exactly. And again, like, it's really hard to get those right. I mean, it took anybody to have like a 94 percentage. I mean, none of us could do that, but it's a different level, right? It's a different level when you're a major league umpire and you're expected to be at 97, 98%.
Barrett, we always appreciate the time. Thank you. I know that you'll have a great pre and post game show tonight. I'll be listening. If you want to drop my name, feel free. And
I will. Early games this weekend, 6:40, and then tomorrow afternoon, and then Mother's Day at 1. So I'll actually get to see the little people that live in my house. I hear they're wonderful.
Happy Mother's Day to your wife.
Y'all too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Barrett Sallee joining us. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services, Pat.
I was talking to Michael from Golston Tree Service earlier this morning. I've got a couple things right on my property line that I need addressed. And if you're a homeowner like myself, you need to pay very close attention, especially this time of the year with these heavy storms that are be coming in almost on the every afternoon basis. So Golston Tree Service can help you today at 205-337-4018. It's family owned and operated for over 35 years. No job is too big or small. And Michael, who I was just telling you about, he's a certified arborist. And you don't have those guys a lot of times with these different tree services. So I'm just telling you that Golston Tree Service, they're going to give you an honest assessment. They came out to Landrum's house a couple weeks ago, and Landrum thought he needed something cut down. And they said, no, unless you just want it knocked down from an aesthetic purpose, there's nothing wrong with your tree. So they're not there to try to fleece you or make you spend money. They want to give you an honest idea of what's going on your property. Plus, they have 24-hour emergency storm work service, 205-337-4018. That's Golston Tree Service.
Your text are next. 3-Man Front, Jocks 94.5.
We will get to your text messages momentarily on the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. Pat, Conrad, Landrum, Molly will be back with us on Monday. I want to encourage you to go vote on what movie she's going to review next week, as we will start the summer movie series entitled Molly's Movie Minute. And it's between Cocaine Bear, The Firm, The Goonies, and The Two Popes.
It's going to be The Goonies. Do you have the voting right in front of you?
I do.
Is it still a landslide?
52.4%. Coming in at number 2 is The Firm.
Hey, did the older brother in Goonies, was that Brolin?
Yes.
Wow.
Sure was.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
He would grow up to destroy the world with his rings.
That's absolutely right. Well, if you need a place to get in, stop by for some lunch today. We recommend Big Whiskey's over there in Stadium Trace Village. They have a great place for great food of all varieties. Their full menu offers appetizers, salads, burgers, steaks, wings, flatbreads, anything you could possibly want. They're going to have it for you right there at Big Whiskey's. Their bar also features many unique cocktails, including over 120 whiskeys and whiskeys on tap, plus plenty of screens to catch all the games this weekend. So stop by, see our friends at Big Whiskey's for lunch today at Stadium Trace Village off of Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
Text line is open, and we are going to get to it. 205-834-9450 on the Jocks text line. Best way to interact with us every single day, and we love it. And Jonathan texts into the show, and he says, when I was a kid, we were members at Cumberland Country Club and played about 3 times a week. My dad never let us ride a cart, not one single time. I played for the school twice a week, and at least once a week with my dad. We would walk 18 holes, sometimes twice a day. Now I get a cart every time I play. LOL.
I used to love the pull cart.
We did the pull cart.
You have to try out this ancient invention that y'all are talking about.
And you could rent the pull cart at a lot of golf courses.
My dad was a member of a club in it was outside of Montgomery when he lived and worked there, and I would go stay with him in the summer, and he would drop me off there when he went to work. And I might have not told the truth about my age, and I rented a cart. I was like 14 and a half.
Oh, those are fun times. Before you got your license and you could get in the golf cart. Yeah.
But just go out there in the morning and play. And a lot of times it was walking, but play 36 holes. Those are the best.
You have a golf cart right at home?
Yeah.
Is your course BYOG? Do you get to bring it with you and use it free of charge?
Some people, it's. I think you have to live in the neighborhood.
But you could actually do that if you owned a golf cart?
Yes. I think it's kind of discouraged. But I couldn't do it because of the tires that are on mine. They're not street tires.
Yours are heavy
duty.
They're
not safe for,
Gotcha.
Mine is made for if it all goes bad and I don't have any transportation.
Like the world?
Yeah, like the world. I've got a bug out bag and those batteries as far as they'll get me going like 13 miles an hour.
Do you have a bug out bag, really?
Pat, of course I do. You know that. Got to get my star ID, though.
Yeah, you're not making it very far without that thing.
You better get it before you get chastised by Molly.
Oh, I know.
She was very proud of herself for having that.
She was. Robot Golf Course, Trish and Miss Cody, unbelievable hamburgers.
Yes.
We were talking about the grill.
Yes.
Earlier.
Absolutely. It was phenomenal. I can still taste it today.
Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's boo. Posey says Jordan's dad was always gone commercial fishing at the Flemish Cap, bypassing the Grand Banks. Shout out to the Perfect Storm. Michael says, I ain't saying she's a gold digger.
Yeah.
Maybe she just enjoys the very mature conversations that they have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's why he's in it. Get rid of the SEC championship game. That just qualifies. I apologize for even starting to read that because it makes no sense. Kyle, Pat just read out automatic bids for potential 16-team playoff. Why do the SEC and Big Ten get more auto bids versus other Power 4 conferences? Is it based on money contracts or just the reality that the ACC is terrible? I think the reality that the ACC is not great.
Well,
and
the SEC
that
and
the SEC and Big Ten, it's proof. Go back.
They have to
however long you want to go back.
Basically, what happened is last year, before they decided to expand the playoff to what it currently is, the schools voted to give the SEC and Big Ten the power moving forward. So that's why the SEC and the Big Ten are going to get 4 automatic qualifiers.
I'm a diehard card-carrying SEC fan, but I can't get past this idea of 4 automatic bids for the college football playoff. Since when do we have everything guaranteed and have to be given to us? So sad that the leadership of these conferences are asking for this. I don't think it's just the leadership. I think it's the reality of who's going to garner, who is going to garner the most eyeballs.
When we come back on Three Man Front, exactly what that text message listener, what he had to say about the proposed college football playoff expansion, we will give you the very latest, including it appears now it's going to be a 16-team format starting in 2026. We'll break it down for you next on Three Man Front. It is 12 noon, lunch hour here on Three Man Front, Jocks 94.5. Pat Smith along with Landrum Roberts, Conrad Van Order. Molly Robinson will be back with us on Monday. Appreciate Wimp Sanderson joining us in hour number 1. Also talked to the head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions, Skip Holtz. You just heard from Barrett Sallee a few minutes ago, but we're wide open the rest of the way. Love to hear from you at 1-800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450. That is the number on the Courtesy GMC text line. One of the stories that we did discuss earlier in the program, Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports, he has come out with a story saying that yesterday in New York, the Power 4 conference commissioners held an in-person meeting. They discussed several issues, including the future playoff format. Sources told Ross Dellinger that the Big Ten and the SEC, who control the future format, continue to favor multiple AQs for their conference, and they are leaning towards a 16, that's 1-6, college football playoff starting in 2026. There's also growing support amongst the teams involved in the conferences that there will be, in this 16-team format, the SEC and the Big Ten will get 4 automatic qualifiers. 4 for the SEC, 4 for the Big Ten, so that's 8. The ACC and the Big 12 would get 2 apiece, so that gets you to 12. Then the G6 would get 1, that's 13, and then there would be 3 at-large teams. So that's your 16-team breakdown of what it would look like moving forward. One other kicker that Ross had in his story, the leagues are also discussing the season-ending interleague play in games for seeds 3, 4, 5, or 6. So basically, at the end of the season, let's take the SEC, for example, the 2 top teams in the league standings would play for the SEC championship in Atlanta. Whoever's in 3rd place would then play the 6th place team in the conference standings. The 4th place team would play the 5th place team. And then the winners of those games, those would be your automatic qualifiers. So the 2 teams going to Atlanta, automatic qualifiers. Whoever wins between 3 and 6, automatic qualifier. Whoever wins between 4 and 5, that would be your 4th qualifier. And the SEC would then have the option of having additional teams in the college football playoff if they were good enough to be at large.
Yeah, but with a 9-game proposed regular season, 9 SEC game, I cannot see everybody getting together and voting yes on both. I think you either get the 9-game regular season schedule or you get the play-in games. Then how much would ESPN be willing to pay for the latter, just the play-in games, as opposed to all the other games they would have at their disposal in the inventory?
It's also interesting because in the month of March, Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark expressed his support for the current 12-team college football playoff, but when it comes to automatic qualifiers, he warned of a potential artificial championship because of so many teams being in the college football playoff.
Okay.
But maybe he changed his tune after yesterday's face-to-face meeting in New York with his brethren, Jim Phillips, Greg Sankey, and Tony Petitti.
So I guess the argument is the more teams that are in there, the more likely somebody has a easy path to a championship, as opposed to if you had, let's say, the 4 teams where they were generally all pretty good. I don't look at Ohio State's as a fluke from this last year.
So just for giggles, I went back and I looked, and I took the Week 15 college football playoff rankings. I'm not putting in mind who won the conference championship, but I'm just looking at Week 15 last year. If we had a 16-team playoff, what it would look like.
Alabama would have been in there.
Yes, they would have.
Yep.
They would have played Ohio State.
Oh, God. Maybe it's good we're doing this next year.
You had enough heartache.
Yeah, I did.
So this would have been the breakdown last year. Oregon versus BYU. Indiana versus Boise State. That's on one part of the bracket.
Okay.
Penn State versus South Carolina. Notre Dame, Ole Miss. That's another bracket.
Okay.
Then you would have Georgia versus Miami. Tennessee, SMU in another portion of the bracket. And then Texas versus Arizona State, Ohio State against Alabama. That would be your breakdown based on last year's Week 15 college football playoff rankings if you went to 16 teams.
I like that.
I like that. That is the sound of infused sparkling water from Blount County, Alabama, and that's a Lift Blend from our friends at Mystic Beverage. The Lift Blend, it's got the green coffee bean extract and a lot of other good stuff that's going to elevate you during the day. We do a 4-hour live radio show every single day, and we have tasks before the show, after the show. We need to be on point, and Lift helps me to get on point, whether it's the Lift Blend, whether it's the High Hills watermelon, the mango, the southern berry, the blood orange, whatever vibe you're trying to achieve, the Nirvanic, it's a smooth, calming experience. You can find all of these products, and I've just named a few from Mystic Beverage, at your local Piggly Wiggly. So try it today. All the great flavors. I'm on to the mango now, and it's absolutely delicious. MysticBeverage.com. If you run into them, make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So the NCAA Basketball Rules Committee, they have been meeting, and they're going to give some recommendations. Now, the full basketball rule proposals for college basketball, that will be heard on June the 10th. But take a listen to some of these that they're making recommendations on. A coach's challenge could be done at any point in the game to review out of bounds, basket interference, goaltending, and whether a secondary defender was in the restricted arc area. Committee members also recommended modifications to the rule on continuous motion on field goal attempts. You know, that's something that the and one plays that you hear Jay Billis talk about all the time.
And it felt like more so this year, it was official specific.
Yes.
Certain officials, yep, let it go. And then we got the tournament, and then you started seeing a group of officials that either they changed the way they were calling it during the regular season, or we just had not seen that group of officials. But everybody needs to get together on this.
And speaking of the coaches challenge that I just mentioned, at any point in the game to review certain calls, teams must have a timeout remaining, because that's just like in any sport. If you go to the monitor and you lose the challenge, you lose your timeout. So, and if you win the challenge, you retain that timeout. A new emphasis for basketball officials in 2025 and 26. The point of emphasis will include directives to address delay of game tactics, limit time spent at the monitor, improve game administration efficiency, and reduce physicality. The going to the monitor crap takes way too long.
It takes a long time.
So I'm glad that they're at least having a conversation about this. Other proposals with the NCAA Basketball Rules Committee, officials would have the option to call a flagrant one foul when a player is contacted in the groin. A flagrant one foul results in 2 free throws in the offended team with the possession of the ball. Currently, officials can only call a common foul or deem it a flagrant 2 foul. Also, if a player uses the rim to gain an advantage, it would be a basket interference violation. And if one of the shot clocks becomes inoperable, a shot clock at the other basket would be allowed to remain on. Currently, both clocks have to be shut off if one is not working. I did not know that. Did y'all know that?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, I think it did, because I think I ran into it in a game that I was working. Going back to the NADS, right?
The flagrant one. If you're
the flagrant one, we saw the guy from BYU in the tournament get ejected because I think that was his second. Was that his second flagrant because of what he did against the Wisconsin guy that was trying to guard him? That poor guy.
He like elbowed him though.
Oh, he did.
I mean, it was. I'm not going to speak for him, but it didn't look like an accident necessarily.
It was like if you were going to crossface, but he did it
a little lower.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was just short.
No, but I think if you intentionally go for somebody's groin, then that's automatic ejection.
No, you got to protect the family tree, man.
Right. Pat, do you agree, or
of course
you think that's just good old fashioned?
No,
that's just some good old fashioned fun out there on
that's
the hardwood.
That's a little gamesmanship out there.
No.
You don't get hit in the nads. That means you ain't got an opponent playing against you.
So those recommendations that I just told you about will go in front of the Basketball Rules Committee on June the 10th.
Can you hear if we had like a Dean Blandino mic'd up? All right, we're going to the headset now. Yeah, there's clear contact, right? Yep. Left and yep, and then he continues the motion and he got the right one too. Yep. Yeah, this is pretty clear cut, guys.
Ouch.
Oh, let's go to the phones. 800-239-WJOX. Everybody needs some sunshine on this overcast Friday, and here's your ray of sunshine. Bama Hater, how are you?
What's happening, man? Y'all doing all right?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, I can't complain about nothing, man. I'm on this side of the dirt. Hey, look, man, in some states, if you get hit in the nads hard enough, it should be a Class B felony.
For sure. You're a basketball official. What are you doing? You see somebody go after somebody's nads?
I'm gonna give them a flagrant, or I'm gonna throw them out. I don't tolerate. When I see it early, I get rid of it early.
Yeah.
You know, it makes a bad game when you got those problem players. But, man, I called to talk about this playoff situation. You know, man, I sit back and I listen to you guys and I watch ESPN. I listen to all the talking heads. And I'm trying to figure out the teams that bang their chest like Tarzan and, you know, say they the king of the hill, now they need a free pass to the playoffs regardless of what they do in a sense. Why can't those big name teams, big brand name teams, just earn your way on the field? That's the problem I have with this new thing about the playoffs. You got 4 guaranteed spots for each of the 2 biggest conferences. Why is my question. Why don't we have guaranteed spots for everybody? Just let everybody into the playoffs. I mean, it makes no sense to me. If you do it for one, how can you do it for those 2 conferences and the other team, they just got to bloody each other out on the field to get their spot? It's not fair to me. But as I said before, when it comes to that dollar bill, nothing is fair. So I understand the money part of it, but I don't agree with how they're doing it. It's just not fair, man.
All right, so let me ask you this question. So why do you think Jim Phillips and Brett Yormark, why do you think they signed off on this? Ultimately, they've got to. But why do you think that they didn't raise more cane? Or why do you not think that they're saying what you were saying currently behind closed doors? Because apparently they are cowering down to Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti.
Maybe they got a secret handshake. Who knows? We don't know. We just fans. We can only watch what we see on TV. We don't know what these people are doing behind the scenes. But as I said, why do those 2 conferences get a free pass or get 4 teams? 8 teams, that's half the field. We're going to put half of the teams in the field just because we say we're the 2 best conferences.
But Bama Hater, the commissioners of the Big 12, the commissioners of the ACC, they voted along with the group of 6 commissioners to give the SEC and the Big Ten power moving forward. So that's why the SEC and the Big Ten are going to take 4 automatic qualifying bids.
But Bama Hater, let me jump in real quick. I think Yormark and Phillips also are being realistic. And they probably had it proposed, if we don't have any automatic bids, then they're thinking, well, there might be some years we don't have 1 team that is in that college football playoff. We would rather go with a guaranteed 2.
Landrum, I got a crazy question. It's gonna sound crazy to some, and it may make sense to others. Where the hell is the NCAA in all of this?
In college football, non-existent. Yeah, non-existent in college football.
It's like they're just out of it.
Yep.
When do they come into play in anything as far as college sports?
Other sports, the governing body of other sports, yes, but college football, it's off limits. They got shut out of that party a long time ago.
And I go back to what I originally said, it's all about money.
Yes, it is.
And when it comes down to money, it's a lot of shaky stuff that goes on and nothing we can do about it.
Nope.
But talk about it.
That's right.
But, hey, I'm looking forward to those Canes again. I guess I'm going to go for the Kool-Aid once again. But after this year, if Miami doesn't, listen to me very carefully, if Miami doesn't win the ACC, it's time for Cristobal to go.
Ooh.
Why do we keep allowing this guy? We had the best opportunity we had in years last season, and you got paid enough money to coach the defense to at least get us to the playoffs. The number 1 offense in the country, and we couldn't get a playoff spot because they can't teach defense.
LSU fans everywhere are saying preach, because exactly the same thing happened to them 2 years ago when they had a Heisman winning quarterback and a record-setting offense, and they couldn't stop.
The number one
Tin Horn
player taken in the NFL draft, and we couldn't get a playoff spot. Yeah, I'm pissed off, but I got to deal with it. You guys have a good one, man.
You too, Bama Hater. Good to hear from you. That was pleasant.
Yeah, it was a good conversation about potentially what we're looking at from a college football playoff expansion. Once again, Yahoo Sports reporting that there is growing support for a 16-team bracket, and the SEC and the Big Ten will get the 4 automatic qualifiers that you just heard Bama Hater talking about.
Do you not agree though of my the thought process?
Well, sure. I mean, think about Jim Phillips.
Do you want to roll the dice?
All the years that the ACC basketball was one of the most dominating conferences every single year. You can mark it down. This year, outside of Duke, they had nobody.
No, NIL has changed everything.
Conference was trash. So maybe Jim Phillips was like, well, heck, man. I mean, you could have spray painted on the wall that every year the ACC was going to have 7, 8 teams
at least
in the NCAA basketball tournament. This year, we're fortunate to get one that actually made a deep run to the Final Four. So maybe he's like, you know what? We just got to take what we can get. And that's the thing. You can criticize what's going on, but at the end of the day, these people, when I say these people, I'm talking about the Big 12, the ACC, the Mountain West, the American, the Sun Belt, Conference USA, all these other conferences, they voted to cede power to the SEC in the Big Ten. So why would the Big Ten and the SEC not take advantage of that and get those automatic qualifiers? We want to hear from you, 1-800-239-WJOX, like Bama Hater called, or give us a text on the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450.
12-23 man front, potential expansion in the college football playoff, 16-team format, 4 automatic bids for the SEC, 4 for the Big Ten potentially, and maybe more. A lot of stuff on the table as we'll have spring/summer meetings that are cranking up. Of course, the SEC meeting is going to take place there in Sandestin. Then we'll have SEC Media Days, and there'll be plenty to talk about. Also, the portal is still out there. You still have players that are available. We'll get to some of that as well. 205-834-9450 on the text line. We will get to your texts, and your phone calls are welcome as well.
Well, spring weather in Alabama can be really unpredictable, and that's why you need the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. And right now, you can receive their 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. Just go visit them online to find out more at Trane.com.
Text line 205-834-9450. A lot of the texts covering a lot of different things that have happened through the course of the show, now almost 2.5 hours in. We'll try to keep you up and keep you in context of some of these texts. Are y'all going and playing in the region's traditions? We are not. Pat twisted his ankle.
Yes.
He fell off the ball washer.
Wow.
That, my friends, was paying homage to one Wimp Sanderson who told that joke on the Sonny and Wimp show back in 2003. And I never forgot it. It was a good joke.
That's a great
joke. It's a really good joke. Love you, Coach. Hope he's listening. Wimp is a jewel. Love hearing him each week. His stories, new or repeats, are worth every minute of him telling them. Bless you, Wimp. Thank you for that text. I know Wimp appreciates it. Listening to the show in Laurel, Mississippi, and Landrum is my favorite. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I don't think that's actually what it said, Pat.
Where did Landrums get the Stallions long sleeve shirt? Love the show today. Sam, we love you. I got this from our friends at the Stallions. I did not buy it from a store. This was actually given to me by our good friend Heather. And Conrad, I believe that yours was.
Yeah, I have the Bill Belichick special, which my wife hates.
I am so
short
upset.
Sleeve or cutoff hoodie.
Pat, I asked him earlier today. I was like, "Why are you wearing the undershirt?" And you know what he told me? His armpit hair is out of control.
I have bad armpit. It's a problem.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's bad. I mean,
wow.
I don't know. Maybe y'all wouldn't think so, but
I told him about something. They need to. This would be perfect, the demographic for this particular product. But
yeah, no, I'm gonna go try to buy one.
You gotta keep those pits.
Well, I know. Well, and let's be honest. Like,
cut back a little bit.
Last week going to the beach, it was like, all right, yeah, we're in the summer months. Time to trim up a little bit for the lake and for the beach this year.
My niece, when she was little, she would call them armpits. She thought it was armpits. And apparently that's what Conrad has living under his arms.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say that your niece had wild armpit hair or something as a child.
No, she was terrified of it.
But hey, I don't have back hair, so I'll take the armpit.
Hey, that's a win.
I will take the armpit hair.
That's a win. Adam says when he takes, meaning Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson out to dinner, does he get to write it off on his taxes?
Well, she's the CEO of his production company.
I like to think she picks up the check.
Don't forget about Coach O and his girlfriend. Going back to girlfriends.
Are we talking about when that picture came out of him in the bed?
What's her name? Bridget Fontaine?
Brandy
Fontaine.
They're engaged.
Are they? How old is he? 62.
He's 62?
I don't know.
Or is that your guess?
That's my guess.
Ed O is, close, 63.
Huh. And how old is she? She's like 30.
Not 63.
She's not 24?
No, she's older than that.
Thank you for that text. If Belichick was broke, his kids wouldn't care. We'll allow it.
That might be a little bit of the concern.
Mad Mike says, what about Urban Meyer in the bar with the girl between the legs?
Don't know how old she was. She looked older than 24,
though. That's funny, but I can't read it. Jody says, most men applaud Belichick realizing his, can't say that one, privileges with Jordan are worth the money she is spending, while women look down on it because they're disgusted that Jordan is in it for the money and Bill just wants the privileges. Thank you, Jody.
Hey, maybe they view it as mutually beneficial. Who knows?
Jason says Blue Chew will be the next NIL money backer for North Carolina.
Now in Tar Heel blue. It writes itself, right?
Do they stamp it with a goat? Because there is the stuff they sell, you'll see hanging in the convenience store, the goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Have you ever, this is random sidebar, have you ever taken any sort of pill from a gas station, like an energy pill, or not? I'm not talking about that, but like an energy pill or anything like that?
Yeah, made me want to crawl out of my skin.
Those things mess
Those things
you
are awful.
up. I don't know what's in them, but
They used to have the white crosses.
I just remember there was one that was like yellow. It looked like a bee, like it was yellow and black.
Yeah, the yellow jacket.
I took one of those one time.
Yep.
I thought I was gonna die.
Somebody brought some of those on a trip. It might have been like a show choir trip, and they brought a bunch of Jolt Cola. We didn't sleep for 3 days.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you didn't.
And person came to knock on the door to make sure we were ready in the morning. We're just all just wide-eyed. Let's go. Awful. Don't do it. Going back to the movie selections, looks like we'll update you on the Twitter poll.
It's about to close.
But Goonies looks like it's going to be the movie, right, Conrad?
Yes.
51.9% right now.
Someone's saying Molly should do the truffle shuffle. I don't think she has the belly to do the truffle shuffle. Maybe one of us can do the truffle shuffle. Somebody loses a bet. Most likely Conrad. Just reading them.
Just. Oh, Pat.
Joseph, are we sure that Yahoo's reports on the 16 team is accurate since they just got called out for putting out all this false information today regarding Jordan Hudson? Molly must be out of studio. Y'all are getting loose today. LOL. Yeah.
I have actual tears down my face right now.
We can make you cry. It's a good day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Al, can you update us on South Carolina baseball cumulative run totals for and against after last night? Didn't Florida beat the brakes off of them in their last series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's back-to-back games they've given up over 20 runs.
That's tough.
Somebody wants that buyout.
Yeah, Bama Hater's right. The big bad SEC says we ain't going to play 9 conference games unless we're given 4 spots in the playoffs. Poor little babies. The Big Ten does, but we can't. Fat Joe asking, y'all going to broadcast out there Wednesday during the Pro-Am? And can I get a shout out to the guy that listened to you all the time and works for Shelby County? I call him Baldhead Matt. I appreciate it. Baldhead Matt, hello. Happy Friday. Thanks, Fat Joe.
We will not be there.
Mike in Huntsville, love how Wimp acts like no one wants to hear him. I could listen to him tell stories all day. That makes all of us.
I did like at the end where he got to, I know you don't want to hear this story, but I don't care. I'm going to tell it anyways. Those are the best.
Alan asks, how many UNC players think that the head coach has a hotter girlfriend than they do? Conrad, you want to offer up?
I'll go 40%.
That's the thing. Players' girlfriends hate her.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they do.
Or
was Jordan in practice today?
Envy her.
Well, that's secretly what they're hoping for with their current boyfriends. Just, a couple years away, go to the NFL, and then they're good to go.
Jordan, we're going to have you run the players' girlfriends football clinic.
Oh, that's what I want to know. Where will she sit? Because I don't know if in college, I guess they probably sit, with like their sorority or whatever, or their friend group. But could we have like a, how you have like a wives section in professional sports? We can do the girlfriends for North Carolina, and Jordan can be in charge of snacks and concessions.
She's going to be on the sideline, isn't she?
Surely not. Surely not. She'll be calling plays for the booth.
Tripp says, I love the potential new college football playoff format. 3, 6, 4, 5 play-ins and the drama that the losers may still get in the playoff. Johnny says mini thins with the white crosses. Back to our...
Oh, the gas station stuff?
Gas station uppers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Posey. You're exactly right. Yes, that's what we were referencing. Jerry from the hometown of one Conrad Van Order, Hayden, Alabama.
Close.
I'm happy for Bill. Hey, if I could score with a babe like her, I would go for it. I'm 61. It's never too late, Jerry. Unless you're married.
How much money you got in your bank account, Jerry? That may play a factor in some of
situation.
this.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Keep the text rolling in. We got more we'll get to throughout the show.
Well, it is now official as we start the second season of Molly's Movie Minute. That music was one of the major theme songs from the movie The Goonies. And that will be the movie that Molly will watch and review for us next Friday at this time.
I thought about watching it the other night. I was just scrolling through movies. That's one that I could do it.
I was about to say,
not every night, but
I haven't seen it in probably 5 or 6 years the last time I saw it, so I'm excited to rewatch it. I love that movie. Baby Ruth.
Booby Trap.
Great movie.
It was a great movie.
Hopefully Molly enjoys it.
I got a feeling she won't.
I love, though, the thing that I learned from you guys yesterday about Back to the Future and Goonies.
Oh, yeah, the theory that they take place on the same day at different parts of the country. Mm-hmm. Would you say, Pat, something with there's like a newspaper you can see in both movies and it has the same date?
Well, it's the date that's in the car for Back to the Future. And then in Goonies, when the family, they escaped.
Yes.
And what's her name? The old lady.
Yeah.
In the Goonies.
I don't remember, but yes.
She was awesome. She was in Throw Mama from the Train.
She holds up a newspaper with the headlines of them escaping from prison, and it has the date. That's the same date that's in Back to the Future.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh, Anne Ramsey. That was the mother in that movie. She was scary. You guys not agree? You know where she was born? Speaking of Molly, Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, look. That's all we have to tell her. Hey, one of the actresses in the movie, she's from Omaha, and she'll love
Major characters from Nebraska.
That's right. She will love
it. It's a scary older woman.
That movie did scare me as a child, though. The guy in the basement freaked me out.
Oh, yeah.
That really scared me as a little kid.
Well, I think it would scare most grown folks if you weren't expecting it.
Yeah, that's true.
He was so mistreated.
He was. He just wanted his.
He had his say though, didn't
he? He did.
In the end, he had a big heart.
He did.
We told you yesterday that the Black Friday game between Ole Miss and Mississippi State is going to be played at 11 o'clock. Well, then last night it was released that the University of Texas and Texas A&M, they're also going to play on Black Friday. It's going to be played in Austin, and it's going to kick off at 6:30. So I'm not sure if there's any other SEC games on that day, but it's kind of an interesting bookend, right?
Yeah, to have Egg Bowl and then
the Egg Bowl and then the Texas A&M game.
We need a name
which will be played that night.
What's the name for that one?
What, Texas and Texas A&M?
Yeah, like when they used to play. Did they have a name for the rivalry?
No, not really. They're sponsored by somebody now. I think it's called the Texas Showdown.
I think you should call it State Hate.
State Hate?
Or Hate of the State.
The game was played on Black Friday from 1996 to 2007. And then for a 3-year period, it was played on Thanksgiving. And then, of course, when both teams went through separate ways, Texas A&M to the SEC, Texas staying in the Big 12, that's when the Ole Miss Mississippi State game became a staple on Thanksgiving night.
I loved having the Egg Bowl at night, but I realized that was tough for some families, supporters of both schools. But I think we get enough on Thanksgiving with the NFL. And if you wanted to throw in a game or two, but that if we could beef up the Black Friday schedule, because it seems like we've had some good ones, but in other years it's like, man, y'all just crammed a bunch of bad games on a slate to make it look really busy and good.
Yeah.
So you got Georgia and Georgia Tech. They are scheduled to play that day.
Okay.
You've got Arizona State, and Iowa and Nebraska.
Oh, paved the way. We just need to clear out for that game. It's a big one.
But so from the SEC standpoint, you'll have Ole Miss, Mississippi State, 11. I assume Georgia Tech would be the midday game.
Yeah, like 2:30.
And then the nighttime game would be Texas A&M.
I like that. I mean, especially for us, since we, do shows on Black Friday every year, having that going on during the show and then knowing immediately afterwards you're just going to go back to back with other rivalry. I like it.
And then the next day is the Iron Bowl.
Yep. I like it.
So interesting how Both Mississippi State and Ole Miss, Texas A&M announced on the same day, yesterday.
Well, Texas, they're not one to be
outdone.
One-upped. No.
Texas AD Chris Del Conte and Texas A&M AD Trev Alberts both expressed an interest last year in moving future iterations of the game to Friday night in hopes of seeking a more exclusive television window. Going back to Thanksgiving night was not appealing to the ADs because of the NFL's presence that day. So that's why they decided on Black Friday. And we talked about that earlier with the NFL now. It used to just be the two games, Detroit and Dallas. They would always play games on Thanksgiving. Now they've added a third game.
And we've got more that are coming on Christmas, right?
3 games on Christmas Day. Another reason why folks on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. have been meeting within the last week. Ted Cruz is looking at a long-standing law that's on the books about the NFL not playing games to disrupt high school or college football games, because now the NFL is taking control of every single night of the week. Mm-hmm. And so Ted Cruz wants to protect college football. Another part of all the politics going on with Nick Saban, the President's Commission, and Ted Cruz now looks like he's going after the NFL.
Well, I think Ted, and I appreciate what he's doing, but he needs to focus his efforts on a lot of what Nick Saban did. Right now, college football needs to protect college football.
You're just trying to protect those Beyonce halftime shows at Christmas now because those are your favorite.
I really enjoyed that this year.
I know you did.
And I'm not big into halftime shows, and I don't make it appointment television. I happened to just be in front of the television, and I was like, this is good. This is good. And then when I saw certain people migrating into the room and enjoying it, I was like, yeah, you got a winner.
That's when you know. Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix just scored. And once again, the NFL.
And
like something else, undefeated.
They stay winning. Yeah.
Text line is open at 205-834-9450. 1-800-239-WJOX is the phone number of the Braves tonight in Pittsburgh, taking on the 12-26 Pittsburgh Pirates, last team in the National League Central Division.
Can you guys imagine if former Auburn quarterback Hank Brown leads Iowa down the field for a game-winning score over Nebraska?
That would be something. It would be electric.
Yeah. Right now, he's 2 on the depth chart.
1 play away, baby.
Yeah, Gronowski, transfer from South Dakota State, I think. All right, text line is open, 205-834-9450. We take you there now. Are y'all going to broadcast from the SEC baseball tournament? We're going to be there. I don't know if we're going to broadcast there, Pat.
No, we are not.
Put on your assistant PD hat. Okay, no, we are not. College football has basically become pro football. I quit watching pro football when free agency happened. Can't keep up with the players. I used to know every single player on Auburn's team, and now I can't keep up. It's been ruined by greed. Thank you, Larry.
Man, it's been a long time since he watched the NFL then.
Yeah. It's tough. It's especially tough for people who on an everyday basis cover a team, and then you have to learn a whole new roster every single year. You don't even have like 20 guys that, oh, yeah, remember you.
It's fun.
Yeah. Has Conrad hit any ant beds today?
No, I have not punched any ant beds today, but the day is still young. It's only 12:45.
Who would y'all consider to be the GOAT head coach of the NFL? I don't consider it to be Belichick myself. Not sure who I would say.
Be Bill. I mean, I would go Bill, but other than that, what, Shula? Probably.
Are we going all time or just modern era?
See, it's tough. Like when we, honestly, for the modern era outside of Bill, like, I mean, I feel like everyone else just kind of lumps themselves in a category. Like, you know, Tom Coughlin's got a couple of Super Bowls.
I thought Bill Cowher retired too soon.
Bill Cowher, if we're counting that as a modern one, that would be very high up there. I think Pete Carroll, a lot of people would show him a lot of love. Mike Tomlin would get a lot of love.
Tomlin's going to get a lot of love.
Yeah.
And he should.
As he should.
Bill Walsh.
Mm-hmm. Going back, yeah.
Jimmy Johnson.
Another good one. I think right now a lot of people would go Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Be another one.
The coach in Philly.
Yeah, that they were thinking we thought might get fired before last season, and then he wins the Super Bowl. Yep. Sean McVay get a lot of love too.
Thanks for the text. Cody says, so excited for Molly. Goonies is probably my favorite childhood movie.
It's a great one.
I think she'll really like it.
It's one of the, everyone needs to watch it, right?
That's right.
52.5% of the audience said Goonies.
I really thought Cocaine Bear was going to do better than it did.
18.4%, finished third.
That just tells me not enough people have seen it, which means this weekend you need to watch Cocaine Bear with your mother.
Nothing says I love you like a Mother's Day edition of Cocaine Bear.
I'm sure they would appreciate it. It's a great movie. It is genuinely a good movie if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like wildlife and narcotics.
Based on a true
a
story.
bear who gets hooked.
Yeah, I was about to say, it is, and Pat is right. It is
on a concaña.
Based on a true story. It may be very loosely based on a true story, but there's some truth to it.
But it did happen.
Does the bear chain smoke cigarettes in the movie?
I don't remember him smoking cigarettes.
You've seen it too?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
I watched it in the privacy of my own home. I did not go to the theater.
It came out and people were like, "This is actually a good movie," and I'm like, "Cocaine."
It was funny.
Yeah. It shouldn't have won any awards or anything, but if you want a quick hour and a half, you want to laugh at people getting mauled by a bear on cocaine. I mean, who doesn't want to watch that? It's great. Ray Liotta's last movie, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Mm.
Fitting way for him to go out as an actor, though.
If I'm not mistaken, the real incident took place near Knoxville.
Of course it did.
Did it?
I think so.
Interesting.
East Tennessee.
Okay. We'll let them have that problem.
And despite what some people think, Deliverance was filmed in North Georgia, not East Tennessee. Have you seen that movie?
I've seen parts of it with Paige. She's a Deliverance fan.
Really?
Seriously.
Is that a shocker?
Are you?
Yes.
Wait a second. Hold on. I think.
Yes.
Are we talking about different things?
I think we are.
Has she ever asked you to squeal like a pig?
No, she is not. You are talking about a different movie than I am.
I knew it. I knew it. I should have gone to break and we could have all laughed about it and everyone would be like, wow.
Like Sound of Music, wife would be like, oh, I want to watch it.
Yeah, we were
Paige's
talking about completely
Deliverance.
different movies, apparently.
All right.
Conrad, get in here, boy.
More three-man front, Jocks 94.5. Oh, I wish the cameras were rolling while during the commercial break we educated Conrad Van Order what the movie Deliverance was about.
When Conrad hears this, he knows he's in trouble.
He told the world that his wife was a huge Deliverance fan.
Yeah, apparently I was thinking of
Do you dress up? How do you dress when you do this thing?
Loincloth. Yeah, I was mistaken. My wife is a big fan of the movie Divergent.
Quite a difference.
Which is significantly different than
Deliverance.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, honey. For anybody that
Conrad, he's got all his Columbia gear on. He's got his puffer jacket with the sleeves out. Play the banjo, baby.
A little bit of difference.
Yeah, when you said, "Oh, you like squealing like a pig," I went, "That's odd. I don't remember that from the movie." And then I was informed about.
I had heard about Deliverance for a long time, and I never watched it. And during COVID, I decided that I was going to watch it. And it was just as disturbing as it was portrayed to me all of those years. But critically acclaimed, right?
I believe it was.
It was up for some awards, I thought.
So is that going to be on the poll for next week?
I would. No.
Don't know if I'm going to watch that this weekend.
That's one that you've got to be in the right mindset that you're going to see a lot of things very disturbing. And no, that would not be right for.
Based on what was shared with me, that's probably pass on that one. I'll take y'all's word for it.
No, you've got to watch it.
So you've never seen it?
So you'll really appreciate what we're talking about with you and Paige watching this together.
Yeah, no, I have not seen it.
1972. Not bad.
Who was the actor? He's been in a lot of stuff.
Ned Beatty?
Yep. He got it the worst. Oh, Ned.
Yeah, John Voight played in it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know him.
Mm-hmm. Burt Reynolds.
Yep.
Pride of Florida State University.
Lee Corso's roommate.
Mm-hmm. Atlanta businessman who decided to canoe down the
Try it.
Cohulawasi River.
Yeah.
In northern Georgia. Until they run into
some no-gooders.
Yeah. Some folks in the woods. Yeah.
Boys fame from around here.
It was shot in Rabun County, Georgia, northeastern part of Georgia.
I guess back then when they were getting the permit to shoot the movie, it was like, what is this movie loosely based on? Just some guys going down the river. Okay, cool.
It was filmed on the Chattooga River.
I'm just surprised they could get away with that.
It took 6 months to prepare for that scene.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to recover.
Much longer to recover. Emotionally and physically.
I was about to say mentally, maybe never recover.
That's why I really want you to watch this movie. Oh, that's going to do it for hour number 3. Hour number 4, that means Pat ponders, maybe a bonus question. And updates on the college football playoff. Plus a lot of your text. Man, you got some really good text today. Some of them are a little naughty. Pat loves that. 3-man front. Jock 94.5.
Welcome in. It's the fourth hour of Three-Man Front. Pat Conrad Landrum with you until 2 o'clock. Molly Robinson will be back with us on Monday. She's up in Detroit visiting family over the holiday weekend. She'll be back with us on Monday. Speaking of this weekend, now is the time to check out Courtesy GMC over in Trussville. The very best in inventory and services found right off of I-459 exit 32 at Courtesy GMC. Just an outstanding showroom, very comfortable. They've got TVs everywhere, so you're not going to miss anything this weekend if one of your big games or golf tournament or anything like that is on television. They've got it all right there in the showroom, along with the incredible deals you're going to find on the very best models available from GMC. Yukons, Yukon XLs, Acadias, Terrains. How about trucks like the Sierra 1500 and the Canyons? And their pre-owned inventory is the deepest you're going to find anywhere in Central Alabama. Courtesy is going to beat any deal on any new GMC. They're the lowest price dealer in the state of Alabama. If you don't want to take my word for it, go to courtesybirmingham.com, pull up their offers on brand new GMCs. Go ahead, do some searching, search the web, not only in Birmingham, across Alabama and the Southeast. You will not find a better dealership than Courtesy GMC when it comes to the best deals possible on a new GMC. No one's going to beat them. Visit them in person off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville exit 32, or check out their inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. Some of the big stories that we have been discussing today on the program. The big one, Yahoo is reporting that a 16-team college football playoff future is looking more and more likely, 2026. And if that happens, the SEC would get 4 automatic bids, the Big 10 4, ACC, Big 12 would get 2 apiece, the group of 6, the conference that the Sun Belt, the American Athletic Conference, the Mountain West, Conference USA, they would get 1. So the highest ranked team from those leagues would have one of the automatic qualifiers, and then there would be 3 at large. And the other fun part, the season-ending interleague play-in game would come into effect SEC-wise. Let's talk about that for a second. Your number 1 and number 2 teams would play in Atlanta. Both of those 2 teams would already be guaranteed automatic spots in the college football playoff. So no matter you win or lose, you're in. The 3rd place team of the SEC would then play the 6th place team. The 4th place team would play the 5th best. And at that point in time, the winners of those 2 games would be the automatic qualifiers. So those would be your 4 teams from the Southeastern Conference that would make the college football playoff. And listen, it could be a year where you might have another team or 2 that would be possible, eligible based on their rankings, and they could get an at-large bid. So 16 teams, according to Yahoo. That is gaining a great deal of steam because the 4 Power 4 commissioners, Landrum, they met in New York last night, and they had these discussions. And so that's why both Yahoo and now ESPN is reporting that the 16 team would go into effect in 2026.
Good and bad for some coaches, because now with an expanded college football playoff, you have more opportunities to get in and maybe use that as leverage in a contract, or when it comes to ultimately deciding if you do have a down season, whether to cut ties with you. But bad if you have an expanded playoff and you continue to miss the expanded playoff.
Yep, looking at you, the Brian Kellys of the world. Especially if it goes to 16.
Yeah, could you imagine not making the college football playoff under these new circumstances?
It would be rough. I mean, hey, if Kalen DeBoer isn't able to make the college football playoff, we're see you, buddy. 16 teams? That's inexcusable. 12 was bad enough last year.
How long is the leash on Lane to get to a college football playoff? Hotty toddy. I'm asking you, Mr. Supporter.
Based on what they're paying in NIL, pretty quick.
So let's say 3 years from now, Ole Miss still hasn't made a college football playoff.
He's out.
He's
out.
done?
He's out.
He's done.
Done
He's
with
done.
it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Done.
Do you think Ole Miss makes a playoff in the next 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Does Billy Napier make one at Florida before Lane Kiffin does at Ole Miss?
No.
You know, a lot of people that tell you might make it this year.
Yeah, based on some preseason rankings.
I'm not there yet.
They're 11s in Florida.
They are drinking the Kool-Aid. Sorry, the Gatorade for Florida.
Very nice.
Even though apparently that's bad for you now.
Is it?
Have you not seen that? A bunch of people are freaking out. Apparently it's bad for you.
I've seen a lot. I just
Someone
learned
like
that
food coloring or the dye.
I just learned that brown rice isn't as good as they thought it was for you. Apparently brown rice is bad, and now white rice is okay, just in moderation.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I got a breaking news story for you.
Everything's bad for you.
Everybody's going to die.
What?
See, that's my thing. I'd rather die doing what I want to do.
Now, that doesn't mean that you speed up the process by eating junk and crap. But seriously, the number of times in my lifetime and Landrum's lifetime that there has been a report that something, it's really good for you. And then 5 years later, no, it's really not. It's going to kill you.
Yeah, they tried to kill the egg industry at one time.
The number of times they change which rice is good for you and bad for you, it's like there's no point.
Wait, there was a belief that eggs were bad for you at one point?
Oh, yeah. Eggs were only out.
Why? Because it's something with poultry or what?
I don't know. Maybe it was the way that it was hard to find. I don't remember, and maybe they've always been there in that section, Pat. But the farm raised eggs, the whatever eggs, the better eggs.
Mm-hmm.
That aren't sitting there in an incubator and under a light and mass produced. I guess they're mass produced, but not just to that level. And the standards, the quality standards, all of that. Did they have those when we were little?
I don't.
Or did you just have to go to your local man, lady on the side of the road that were selling whatever their chickens laid that week? But there is a definite difference in getting some yard eggs versus some of those mass-produced eggs. Because our neighbors, they have several chickens, and we'll get some of the eggs. And those eggs, you don't have to put them in the refrigerator. You leave them out on the counter.
Really?
Yeah. And the taste?
Noticeable?
Oh, yeah.
But it really, it's like a roller coaster.
Okay.
And that's why.
I mean, I wasn't going to stop drinking it, but, people freak out about stuff all the time.
It's almost like every day my wife's coming home and her being in the medical profession, and she'll come home and tell me something. And I said, just don't tell me anymore.
Well, that's my favorite with my wife. I don't know if yours does the same, but anything's wrong with her, she goes straight to WebMD and she's like, I'm going to die in 2 weeks.
No, most medical professionals will tell you to stay off the internet.
I know.
Do not go
Don't go on WebMD.
Any of those websites.
WebMD, that'll take you to a dark place.
You'll have a sinus, you'll be congested and you'll think you have a tumor or something,
Yeah, don't do it.
No.
If you have any health questions, go to your physician.
It's good advice,
Pat. Or just text me. I'll get you.
Or just ask Landrum.
Just ask Landrum.
Yeah, he's got you covered.
Yeah.
Like Ask Jeeves back in the day. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It's Ask Landrum for medical advice.
Jeeves is doing well. 205-834-9450. Great texts that are rolling in. Didn't Conrad used to do the movies? Yes, that was on a previous show, but he did do the movies. Didn't you, Conrad? I can remember tuning in to you and McLaren, and you had seen Gremlins, I think, for the first time.
I think that was actually the very first movie we did, and I loved it because the grandma got shot out of the chair through the upstairs window, and I thought
Gremlins was a really good movie.
I liked it.
My older cousin, she took me to see it, and we were in Montgomery, but we were supposed to go see The Never-Ending Story, but I convinced her to take... First of all, the rating on Gremlins, how was it only rated...
Okay.
PG, right, originally?
And I remember this because we talked about it when I watched the movie. That was, I think, the movie that actually spawned the creation of PG-13 because it freaked out a bunch of kids.
Okay.
It's a great Christmas movie.
It didn't freak me out. I thought it was great. And I was with my cool older cousin.
It's a
had
good
a great time. Yeah.
All right, so back to what the text messenger was asking.
Yeah.
So when Molly joined the show, just in general conversations with Molly, we would have just conversations about, movies or whatever, and it became apparent to us very quickly
she was a very sheltered individual.
That she did not watch a lot of movies as she was growing up, and because of her activities that she did. And so we said, okay, well, let's do a segment where each week we'll let the listeners assign you a movie, and you watch the movie and you come back and report to us. And oh my goodness, what'd she do? Like 30 movies last year? Started about this time last year. And
she did a lot of them. Was it quite 30 though?
It was pretty extensive. I think it was at least in the 20s.
Yeah. I was guessing it would have been closer to 20.
But so that's the assignment. And the only caveat to it is that she tells us that she will not watch horror movies. So we cannot give options of horror movies, which that has been an open debate. Conrad wants to assign her some horror movies, despite her disagreeing.
Yeah. And look, we can, if she's not going to watch it, then it's pointless. But I would like at least once, if we could like slide one of those sneaky horror movies in, where it's not just blatant in the title, but you watch it and then you end up. What would one of those be?
I know, that's what I'm trying to think of.
Does she consider The Sixth Sense a horror movie?
I would consider that more of a thriller than a horror. I mean, I guess there's a couple of scary parts.
No,
but
man, the dead people just appearing.
It's spooky.
And walking across the screen unexpectedly. That's kind of scary to me.
That's a good one, and that's also just an excellent movie, right? Like if you haven't seen it, it's a movie you need to see.
Outstanding.
That's a great.
Never saw it coming.
That's a good recommendation. We'll
Sixth Sense?
Yeah, we'll throw that.
Have we not recommended? See, and that's the other thing. I forget how many movies not only has she watched, but how many we've recommended, because we gave her the option of 4 every time. So you do the math, and we're up to now 100 recommended movies.
See, would you say that like 7 would be too scary? Because I think that's another, like, it's an excellent thriller. It's
great point.
It's not scary, but it's ominous. A little disturbing. Especially at the end. But I mean, that's a fantastic movie.
That will have to be a conversation that we have with her. You know, suspense, because I consider those not horror movies.
No, they're suspense thrillers.
Right.
Yeah.
I think she was mainly thinking of.
She doesn't want to watch like Friday the 13th or.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
And to be honest, it's not me being scared. That's just not my favorite genre of movie.
No.
No, those are great movies.
There's a lot of other genres that I would rather watch.
Those are great movies when you're 16 and you want to take a date to the movies. That's pretty much their purpose.
With all this Belichick drama, how about we do a Mount Rushmore of sports drama, LOL, maybe a top 5. That one coming from the state of Tennessee. Thank you for listening and texting. Sports drama? So in recent memory, we would say Shedeur draft, Jordan Hudson, Belichick, fiasco.
Yep, Nico,
and then one more.
See, I would even go back and you could do other stuff with Belichick. You could honestly probably just do a Mount Rushmore Belichick drama.
Yeah.
Him wanting to get rid of Tom Brady for Jimmy G, the Deflategate thing, Spygate. There you go. There's 4 right there.
Him drafting Mac Jones.
I worked out for 1 year.
Hey, by the way, earlier I was telling you guys about some of these proposed rule changes in college basketball.
Yeah.
And it's a very long release from the NCAA. I'm showing this to Landrum. But buried very deep in this on the NCAA website, I'm just going to read you verbatim. Considering the decisions made this week, the committee had conversations about ways to continue the direction of the upcoming years, which includes positive momentum for moving the men's game from halves to quarters.
I don't like it.
This was buried very deep.
Yep.
How they kind of like threw that in there. So they're considering moving the men's basketball from halves to quarters.
I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but why? I would love to know why coaches want it, because now you get the the 16, the under 16, the 12
8.
the 8 and the 4 timeouts, plus your allotted timeouts that you have.
To me, as a consumer of the product, the biggest issue I have with men's college basketball is the final 2 minutes of the game. And that has nothing to do whether you're playing halves or quarters. You're on the phone, but in the NCAA, they're strongly considering going from halves to quarters
like
men's basketball.
Yep. Yeah, well, and I agree with what you just said. I'm fine if they want to go to the quarters like the NBA and like women's game. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, the last 2 minutes, you have to find a way to speed that up.
Yeah, stop the insanity with all this crap going to the monitor.
Well, and now with what you were talking about with, the coaches' challenges, if you have a timeout, that's just going to extend.
Adding more time.
Yep. We have, I think, a little overcorrected in the terms of replays in the sports world. We've gone a little too far in some cases.
Drake says the guy on the Goonies loves himself some Baby Ruth. Yeah, he did.
He did. Yes, he did.
Baby Ruth. Will Jalen Milrose see the playing field in his first year in the pros? Asks Eric.
Yes. There will be a package for him. I think they've already come out and said that.
Ah, this is fun. That sound on the show means that there's breaking news. And for more, we send it to the 3-man front breaking news desk where Patrick Delano Smith is standing by. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Patrick.
So this is a 2-part breaking news.
Ooh.
Here's the first part of the breaking news. South Carolina got Auburn out, the first batter of the game. The second part of the breaking news was that Auburn got a single and then homered to left center field. So, bottom of the first inning, 1 out after last night's decapitation of the South Carolina Gamecock baseball team, 24-2 by Auburn. It is now
chicken on a stick,
2-0 in the bottom of the first inning.
So 26-2 is our running tally of this series.
That is correct.
And we have played all of
8, not even 8 innings.
Not even 8 innings.
And now Auburn has just singled to left field.
Oh.
Tony, he wants that buyout, man. He's on the beach.
When Paul Maneri's writing his memoirs after he retires from the college game, he's like, there's only one series where I chose to drink. And it was that series at Auburn. I'd seen enough.
Yeah, they're probably glad. They're like, great, we can wrap this thing up and be back in South Carolina for the weekend. Let's get out of here.
Well, I mean, and how many of those players, let's be honest, have been contacted, have been tampered with, and have already booked where they're going? They're just playing this thing out. Let's
coasting.
Go.
Yep.
Well, you remember the last couple of weeks, everybody's like, well, it's just not, you look at the SEC standings, you've got like when Alabama swept Mizzou. Because Mizzou hasn't won a game.
Yeah, they're bad.
In conference play. So anybody that's got Mizzou left on their schedule, that, I'm going to improve my seating for Hoover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might get a super regional. I get to host, based on the record. Now it's everyone licking their chops over South Carolina.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When we get the seating for Hoover, it's who gets South Carolina in that first game. Because at that point, like you're saying, those players are like, yep, this is the end of our season. Let me
ask you a serious question. Do you think that Mizzou or South Carolina will actually book a hotel in Hoover for the game?
I don't think Missouri will.
And they just...
You haven't won a single... Not a series, a single game.
Because the way the SEC tournament is set up, it will be one and done.
Yeah, single elimination. Yeah.
So the question is, do you spend money... or go to the trouble of actually booking a hotel?
I hope not, but I hope they win.
Mizzou?
Yeah, and then they have to scramble. And then you have fans. You even have SEC fans, like LSU fans that have brought their RV, and it's like foreign exchange student week. They just start taking kids in. They feel bad for them, like feeding them. And
how many Missouri and South Carolina fans? I could see South Carolina fans still traveling a little bit, maybe having a little hope. But Missouri fans, are you going to see a single one here in Hoover?
Or they do a live shot the next day on the SEC network. It's live inside the Finley Center, and there's a bunch of cots.
More three-man front. This is Jocks 94.5.
$124. Hope you're having a great Friday. We do have SEC baseball underway. Pat had the breaking news that South Carolina got an out, and then Auburn scored runs.
Yeah, it's 2-0 now in the top of the second inning.
How about Mandu in downtown Homewood? Mandu is great, and this would be a great Mother's Day gift for your mom, maybe for your wife. Mandu is electrical muscle stimulation fitness. It's boutique fitness, and it's for all ages, men, women, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you've been in a gym or if you haven't been in a gym in quite some time. There's different levels of Mandu. It's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. And so what that means is you're going to go into Mandu on your first visit. It's free, by the way. put you in a suit. They're going to hook you up to a machine that sends electric pulses to various parts of your body. There are varying degrees of the pulses. It just depends on what you want to do. You want to build up endurance. You're trying to build up your arms. You want to get bigger in your chest. You can do that with Mandu. They have tailor-made programs just for you. The key is just to get in there and try it out for yourself. Mandu, MANDUU.com. They're in downtown Homewood. Paul and his staff, they do a wonderful job. It's FDA approved. Everything is safe. I've been through it, and a lot of other folks have been through it as well. You're going to get results. Mandu in downtown Homewood. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you.
So we started the program today. There was a story that came out from Pablo Torre, who does a podcast for ESPN. He revealed interviews with numerous sources close to the Bill Belichick family to detail the controversial relationship between North Carolina head coach and his girlfriend, Hudson, including claims she had been banned from the university's facilities. On the podcast, Torre also said sources close to Belichick were worried Hudson would diminish the six-time Super Bowl champion head coach's legacy. Well, then the University of North Carolina actually came out with a statement about Jordan Hudson. It says, while Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the University of Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. End of statement. So very interesting how that was the big story early this morning. And then about lunchtime, the University of North Carolina had already released a statement trying to tamp down this story that was gaining a lot of traction.
This journalist, there's no way that they just went with something. They got what they thought was very credible information. So I'm wondering where the misinformation came, or was that story not supposed to come out? And then you had Belichick making a phone call like, look, here's the deal.
So we have a follow-up from Pablo Torre on Twitter because people have been going to him saying, well, where's the disconnect here with the information y'all shared versus what North Carolina said? So he's made a couple of posts. So I'll read it. This is from his Twitter account. He says, UNC can now choose to describe or change its position on Jordan Hudson's involvement however it wishes following the publication of our episode. We requested comment and filed dozens of FOIA requests that were not satisfied. And we stand by the specific reporting in our episode, which came from the highest levels of the football program. In another comment, he says, we broke the news of an important meeting where North Carolina higher-ups told the football program that Jordan Hudson can't be around the facility anymore. Many people around the team heard that message very clearly. You can decide who to trust in terms of how the PR spin goes from here.
Okay. So theory would be that conversation that Aaron just reported absolutely did happen. And then Belichick pulled a card and he went to somebody way above athletic department or Bubba Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
I think you are spot on there, my friend.
Yep. Like I said, I don't think there's no way he puts out that report. And if you read it there at Yahoo, where he was just going with a gut, there's no way he did that.
No, I wouldn't think so.
This thing keeps getting better and better.
Oh, no, it's great. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
So now you have a, oh man, you thought she was bad before. See, and it's different personalities. That's why I asked you guys, do you think that she would kind of read the room and go, you know what, I need to maybe be in the shadows. I know that she is there to get dry publicity and to keep his name in the spotlight. But at some point, you have to have a little bit of respect for the program. I don't know if she does. I think she's probably just out for herself and the GOAT.
And in her own mindset, she's thinking, well, I am supposed to be putting his name out there in the public all the time. And whether it's for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, she feels like she's probably doing her job as his quasi-publicist. Because he does have a book coming out. And I guess they're hoping that any publicity is better than none. Now, if she doesn't win Miss Maine coming up.
Well, that's a different story. They're really pushing the no such thing as bad press. They are really testing the limits of that right now.
But when we had Scott Hamilton on the show this last time, and nobody knows the folks in North Carolina like he does. I mean, there's a reason why North Carolina, they're known as the wine and cheese group.
Yeah.
And this just did not seemed like a good fit from the get-go.
That's why I think if we ever expand in the SEC again, we either take Virginia or North Carolina. We can't have both. That's way too much wine and cheese.
Virginia's more wine and cheese.
Both well respected. But, yeah, the fans, the supporters, the hoos, as they say there. Go to church.
The hoos.
Plus, North Carolina's colors are better, so it's easier to.
North Carolina's colors are great.
They're great. Incredible.
Yeah. I have no desire to own a Virginia helmet. I've got the powder blue North Carolina.
No, yeah. Not a lot of interest there.
We'll do some Pat Ponders when we come back. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks 94.5. .134 Jocks 94.5. The Paul Feinbaum Show coming up at the top of the hour. Braves baseball tonight in Pittsburgh as they take on the Pirates.
Well, yesterday, Wallace State baseball fell to Northwest Shoals in the opening round of the ACCC tournament in Oxford, and Wallace softball also lost to Northwest Shoals in the softball tournament over there at Veterans Park in Alabaster. Both teams will now play in the elimination round today in their respective conference tournaments. For more information on Wallace State Hansville sports, go visit them online at athletics.wallacestate.edu.
All right, so let's end the week on a high note on Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC. Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Visit them off of I-459, exit 32, Edwards Lake Road. You can't miss them. They're right next to Lowe's there in Trussville. All right, question number 1. Do you think that Tyreek Hill intentionally snubbed Tua Tagovailoa in listing his top 5 quarterbacks, and he leaves Tua off of his list?
Yeah, he did the same thing when he left the Chiefs and went to the Dolphins, and he said that he thought Tua was better than Patrick Mahomes, which I love Tua more than just about anybody probably, and
that's a bold-faced lie.
That is just not even close to reality. So, no, I think it's very intentional. He's made it known since the end of the season that he doesn't really want to be there anymore, and no, this is the Tyreek Hill way. He's a great player, but this comes along with it.
Yeah, he strikes me as a guy that's not going to have a whole lot of buddies after his career's over. But no, I'll piggyback on what Conrad said. Nah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Now, if it had been, throw out another player that snubbed his quarterback, then that would.
Oh, like if Devontae Smith snubbed Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's just, and again, I know that this is, broken record here, but you're making $30 million a year to catch footballs. You were hurt last year, and you're complaining about your situation that you're in.
This would be if Jamar Chase left off Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It is.
But no, that was absolutely intentional.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't see them trying to trade him, so looks like he's still going to be there.
Question number 2. If you were ranking the current college head football coaches in the state of Florida, give me your top 3. Rank them 1 to 3.
Wow.
State of Florida.
I will go
Scott Frost, number 1. Who's number 2?
I'll go Norvell 1. I'll go Norvell 1.
Go Russian.
Goalish. I'm going to go Norvell, Cristobal. I really want to say Alex Golesh, but I'll go Billy Napier.
You see this exercise, how difficult it is?
It's a great question. Great question.
Landrum's going to go Golesh, number 1. He's not scared.
I can't knock you if you want to, if he's in your top 3.
No, Golesh is going to be there. I'm just trying to decide who I'm eliminating.
No Scott Frost?
No. TBD on that one.
No, I'll give it to Scott Frost. I'll put Scott Frost.
Norvell's out.
Really? FSU Dave is not going to be happy with you.
Yeah, I still believe in Billy Napier, and I think he's a really good football coach. I'll go Napier 1. I'll go Frost 2. And I'll go Golesh 3.
That's quite a list.
Wow. Okay. I like it. So you're totally out on.
That's bold.
On Norvell.
I probably should have put Cristobal in there, but.
So you would have him
had
over
an embarrassment of riches.
He has? So you would have Cristobal over Mike Norvell?
Yes.
Okay. That's a great question, Pat. Did you come up with your own list?
I had Norvell first.
Now, if he has another year like last year, he's not going to be on the list.
Thank goodness Greg Byrne didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, you are correct.
Can I get an RTR?
I would be significantly less fun to be around if that had happened, yes.
You would have kissed Dabo on his lips.
Oh, Absolutely. Whatever
When
he
he-
needed.
when
Whatever he
arrived
needed
from the airport.
Absolutely.
Question number 3. What's the most overused cliche in sports? Share the one that makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it.
I mean, I don't know. The most basic one that you hear all the time is practice makes perfect, but I mean, it does in a lot of ways. So it's true. It's just like, okay, I don't need to hear it 100 times.
Mine probably go from season to season because they become trendy and phrases that you'll have analysts or play-by-play guys use.
See, for the last year, I would have said, he's only 17 years old.
Yeah.
That one got old. And I, as an Alabama fan, that one got old.
To me, you hear it a lot, one game at a time.
Yeah.
One game at a time. Yep.
Saban made famous, it is what it is.
Anything involving...
Brought his A game?
Anything involving a process. It's all part of the process. You got to buy into the process. Okay, I get it.
There's some other ones. It's a game of inches.
Yeah.
Got to dig deep.
That's a good one. Got to dig deep.
Got to dig deep right here.
Yeah, thanks. I wasn't trying hard.
You know,
I will.
One that is, I love it. And it's been around forever, but ice water in his veins.
I like that one, though.
I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
That one doesn't get old.
Question number 4. What's a childhood chore you had to do that's basically extinct now?
I feel like all my stuff is still
relevant.
Yeah, like I mean, cleaning, just general, picking up after yourself, cleaning, mowing the grass, take out the trash.
I'm almost to the point of going out to the mailbox, but I still get some physical mail. I've tried to eliminate as much as I can. Going paperless. And it's really has nothing to do with the environment. It's a pain.
A lot of people might say vacuuming because a lot of people either have hardwood floors or they have.
We have hardwoods, but we have both. We have the Roomba. And then we also have the old standard.
See, I still vacuum my house.
Yeah, we don't have any carpet in our house. We got hardwoods and tile, but
I don't have, or I have carpet in one room and that's it.
Yeah, we either Roomba or manually or sometimes both. We're vacuuming every day just to keep it like we like it. What about you?
I wish I could say cutting grass.
Yeah.
You wish you could say
I'm
that.
not enjoying it as much this season as I have in seasons past. And I would get a self-propel, but number one, that's it, taking the easy way out.
Taking the easy
number
way
two,
out.
it's a lot. Number two, it's a lot heavier, and it's just one more thing to break on the lawnmower. If I had your yard, Pat, no, I would not have a self-propel. I would either have a yard service or I would have a tractor with a bush hog because your yard is entirely too big. You need to be hosting baseball games.
I will happy to report that I have been looking at some catalogs lately of some vehicles that I could use in the back to eliminate
make your life a little easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need it, man.
Hey, to my wife's credit, she's told me the last 3 years, just go do it. Go do it. What are you doing?
Go get you a little Cub Cadet.
No, I need something bigger than that.
Get you a Kubota. Get you one with a really nice one. It's got a cabin, AC. You can hook up you can watch stuff on streaming while you're cutting.
I need a good old zero turn.
Man. Yeah. I had a buddy who got one of those and he was like, hey, you want to try it out? It's just in the driveway. Those things, they can get away from you pretty quick.
They're hard to drive.
They got power.
If you've never operated one, and they do have power, and you go fast quick. And I was headed right towards his garage door. It was almost to the point where I'm not worried about your garage door. I'm worried about my safety. Yeah. I've thought about bailing, and luckily.
So I need some recommendations on a really good, easy, and there's zero-turn mower.
But there's all kinds of attachments. Get something that you can have the leaf attachment.
Absolutely. That will be a must.
Because I'm tired of coming out there and doing that.
Yes, that's garbage.
You pay crap.
So I need recommendations.
Do we have a BB?
On zero-turn. Yeah, we have a BB question.
Yes.
I was more concerned about my yard cutting.
Yeah, Pat's being selfish.
Months.
He's not worried about us, Landrum. Or BB.
Mm-mm.
All right, here's the BB question of the day. Assuming time and money were no object, what activity would you consume?
If time and money were no... Well, okay, since I've started to kind of get into this a little bit, it's because I got, thankfully, a lot of people in my life that gave me a brand new set of clubs. I've started to try to play golf more, and it's one of those things where if it wasn't so expensive, I would certainly do it more often. So yeah, I would say golf, because if it wasn't, hurting the pocketbook a little bit to go out there every time, then yeah, I would love to be able to play golf much more regularly because I enjoy it.
How about sailing?
Like on an actual sailboat?
Well, yeah, like a really nice one. We're not worried about time, not worried about money.
That'd be cool. I've always wanted to go on a sailboat. That'd be fun.
Having the ability to have the family, have the wife, whatever, just let's load up and let's go to the Bahamas.
That would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest issue would be just weather patterns, and I think about that one little boat in the perfect storm. That guy, he was just that hard-headed dad.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't heed the warnings, and it took putting all those Coast Guard people and their lives in jeopardy.
And now that
his
could
dad
be you.
wouldn't listen. That could be me.
That could be you.
Yep.
What about you, Pat?
It would be travel. I mean, like private plane, just travel.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. I take back my answer. I want a private jet too.
Private jet would be
that would be
so nice.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that you could have and no money was an object, I think private jet.
You're sitting on the leather couch.
Great.
You just seatbelt in. You're taking off and landing.
That would be awesome. Live like
you
Jackson Dart
track
for a
of
day.
time. Or a luxury bus. A luxury bus would be great.
Double
But
decker?
then you have a driver, and then you have to worry about somebody else. I want all of that luxury, but just me and wife.
You just get the divider in the bus, right?
I don't want to have to worry about Donnie. Donnie's got to go to the bathroom again. Oh,
no, I think they'd be saying that about you, my friend.
No, I would be using the master bath.
Oh, okay.
Upstairs in my luxury bus.
That's this week's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Visit them this weekend. Don't drive anywhere else. Drive to Trussville. Very easy to get to, right off of I-459, exit 32. That's Courtesy GMC. More three-man front as we wrap things up for the week. This is Jocks 94.5. So I understand that our great listeners of Jocks 94.5 are just pouring in with suggestions on what kind of
that's right.
What kind of riding lawnmower or tractor.
They're worried about your grass, Pat.
So what are they saying? What do I need? I'm taking notes.
We'll take you there to the what's it called again? The text
the Courtesy GMC text line.
Yes. We'll take you there now. Johnny texts into the show and he says, "Get a bad boy zero turn and be through with it." You want the zero turn, don't
I
you?
do. I've been getting text messages. Dallas Downs, who used to work with us on the Feinbaum show, he told me get a Kubota 48-inch cut.
Okay.
Or perhaps a Kubota tractor with a 56-inch finishing mower.
Well, Justin says get the John Deere Z530 all day.
Okay.
Pat, get an X-Mark zero turn. Great mower.
Now, I have heard the X-Mark is an outstanding machine.
Yeah, but is it as outstanding as a Spartan zero turn 60-inch deck?
Ooh, 60-inch. Less grass I got to deal with.
You got to think about tight turns, though. Confined
what size
areas.
Is your mower? Mine's a 22-inch.
Yeah.
There's 21 or 22?
22 and a half. I think it's 22. It's
okay.
22. Yeah.
All right.
Actually, it is because I had to sharpen the blade. You sharpen your blade every spring?
No.
You don't?
No.
Maybe you're not ready for a riding mower. Conrad, let's go play golf. I'll pay for yours.
Okay. Sounds good.
Says somebody.
There's just the way the world works. I'm watching a Kubota commercial right now on the TV back here in the studio.
Right?
Funny how that happens, right?
Mm-hmm. The Dutchman says Kubota has a great line of zero turns. You can get some serious yard done quickly. The riding tractor would take 2 to 3 hours. Getting it done in about 30 to 45 minutes now. You could always buy some goats, Pat.
That's
You'd
an
have
option.
to keep them away from the gators, of course.
That's true. That could be a problem. They do not cohabitate very, very good together.
No, but the goats are smart enough not to jump into the moat. Jason says walker mower. Drake says, Pat, just get an echo turn. Josh in Huntsville says, all right, guys, let's not have a blade measuring contest, even though it's Friday. Pat, get a landscape crew, says Jody. Pat doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to look too bougie. He's already got 6 people that work there at the property.
Well, it's just to maintain certain other aspects. You know, the vineyard in the very back.
Yep.
Well, didn't you have a worker one time that fell in the mode and it was just kind of a whole big hassle? And...
Yeah, workers' comp. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, it wasn't
worth it.
He has an in-house curator
for all my sports memorabilia downstairs.
Yep. Oh, Pat, how did we forget the John Deere Z 330M 48-inch Kawasaki motor on that sucker? Had it for 2 years, and it's great. Thank you. It sounds great.
These are great suggestions. I am taking notes on all of them.
This one coming in, you asked about childhood chore that's now extinct.
Mm-hmm.
This listener says hanging clothes on the line outside.
Ooh, that is a good one.
Surprised we have not got a churning butter. Does anybody still churn their own butter? I know the Amish do.
I was about to say the Amish.
Josh Smith says extinct childhood chore, rolling up the phone cord that was stretched across the house. That's a good one. Cutting hedges manually with hand trimmers, Burr says. Yep.
That's a good one, Burr.
Yep. Andrew said he used to have to pick up all the pine needles in the yard by hand. That tells me your parents were doing something else inside the house. They needed some alone time.
That's right.
You didn't get them all.
Well, they were just watching Deliverance.
That's going to do it for us. Conrad, good luck with Deliverance this weekend. Do your best squeal. Pat, good luck on your mower search. I will dethatch my yard. Hope all of you have a restful and wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's